Hey, y'all. Let me shut this down. It's Clyde here. It's pleasure. Shut that down. What's going on, y'all? Let me turn the cam on. Oh, okay. What's going on, y'all? Good afternoon, everybody. How y'all doing? Glad to see y'all in the house, or at least stop by, get a drive-by like. If you can just give me a drive-by like, that'll be good too. All right, y'all. So y'all seen the title. As a matter of fact, let me put the title out here for y'all. Let me create a little banner here. How's everybody's weekend going? Huh? Pretty good? Mine is pretty good. I got some legal stuff done today, so I'm really happy about that. What's been going on, y'all? Y'all hear about that Travis Scott situation? Ouch. That looks like that's going to be an ugly little situation right there. I'm sorry that those people lost their lives, man. That's terrible, man. That is terrible. Hopefully, man. I got a good brother of mine. Is a high up at Live Nation, man. But I guess they got insurance for stuff like that, man. But it's sad that they have to actually use it, man, because some people lost their lives, man. But it is what it is. That's why you should always make sure you tell your loved ones when you walk out the door. I mean, police officers and, military people know this, but most of us don't. Make sure you tell your people, man, hey, I love you right before you walk out that door, man. You never know what's going to happen. People went to this concert, man. They had no idea they wasn't coming back. Brother Chef, peace to you, man. Oh, man, always, man. When I see your face, man, I'm always fortified, man. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you just stopping by. And I know you guys got your show to do, man. So I don't expect you to stay a long time, but I appreciate you, Chef. Thanks for stopping by, man. And Brother D, please like, subscribe, share, and the content and the channel. Thank you, Brother D. Appreciate you, man. You know what I'm saying? And I saw that you say you're gonna just be a bystander today. Okay. But if I get in trouble, man, you better come on here and help me out, man. If somebody comes up here, man, they got some stuff for me, man. You got to come on and help me out, man. But I think I can handle it if I'm by myself, man. But anyway, man, it's actually you're the reason why we're doing this topic today, because you made the comment about us being black people and looking at the Democratic Party as a cult. And I thought about that. I said, he's right, man. We do look at the Democratic Party like a cult. We behave like a cult. We have like a cult following for the Democratic Party. Brother D, maybe. Maybe, man. We'll see how it go, Brother D. We'll see how it go. But yeah, man, the black people, we look at the Democratic Party as a cult, like a cult type situation where, it doesn't matter what our leadership tells us, we still gonna follow it. We still follow the Democratic Party no matter what they do. And really, they don't have to never really spend no money in the black community trying to get us to vote for them. They spend most of their money in the middle parts. The people on the fence. That's what they spend their money on. They don't spend their money on us. They don't spend their money on Republicans. They spend their money on the people in the middle, the millennials that trying to decide if they're going to go with their morality or they're going to go for the bag. If you're going for the bag, you're usually going to go with the Republicans. If you're going for the moral standpoint, you're usually going to go for the Republicans. And I don't know why, because neither one of them have moral standings on what they do. They just do stuff. One make it look like they doing it for the moral value, and the other one straight out with it. They tell you they not. It's about the bag. Put all the way. So, but I got a video here, man, I want y'all to look at, man, because I found this cat, man, and he explained pretty good, man. I mean, you know, he left out. You know, I mean, you can't put everything in an 8-minute video, man. But you know, you can. He pretty good. Roundabout explained how we got to the point where we're at right now, as far as black people voting Democrat. So I'm gonna play the video right now.
Why do white Christians vote Republican and black Christians vote Democrat? Everyone knows conservative Christians vote Republican. It's like one of the rules of nature. The sun comes up in the east and conservative Christians vote Republican. Unless they're black. Oh, right. Most African Americans self-identify as Christian, and most African Americans vote Democrat. Look at the numbers. In 2016, 81% of white evangelical Christians voted for Donald Trump. For many Christians, it's just assumed that the Republican Party is the party for Christians. But what about black Christians? Pew Research interviewed validated voters after the 2016 election, people they could verify actually voted. When they looked at black Protestant Christians, there is no official category for black evangelicals because most pollsters have decided evangelical is a white term, but that's a whole different video. When we look at black Protestant Christians, 96% voted for Hillary Clinton, the Democrat. 96%. So 81% of white evangelical Christians voted for Trump, and 96% of black Protestant Christians voted for Clinton. And it's pretty much like that in every election. White evangelicals vote Republican, and black Protestants vote Democrat. Why is that? Don't they read the same Bible, pray to the same God? Which group doesn't understand that they're voting for the wrong party? To make things even more confusing, if we go back to 1890, these guys were Republicans, and these guys were Democrats. What happened? How did we end up where we are today? Well, let's go back and find out. In 1870, the 15th Amendment gave African American men the right to vote. Since they had this guy to thank for it, and the brand new Republican Party, and since most Southern slave owners at the time were Democrats, almost all African Americans voted Republican. In fact, the first 23 black congressmen were all Republicans. Not all Southern Democrats were these guys, but enough of them were that newly enfranchised African Americans were not likely to vote Democrat anytime soon. Most Southern Democrats considered themselves conservatives. That sounds weird to hear. Everyone knows Republicans are conservative and Democrats are liberal. But the two parties didn't shake out so clearly on conservative and liberal until the 1970s and 80s. Conservative Southern Democrats look back in history to happier days, the glory days of the South before Abe Lincoln and those darn Yankees messed up everything. Those darn Yankees. I think that's a Disney film. But Honest Abe didn't last forever, as you may have heard, and things got messy for black Americans pretty quick. Republican presidents kept federal troops in the South to ensure African Americans could vote. But when the 1876 election was in a deadlock with both parties claiming victory, America was in danger of falling into civil war again. A group of Northern Republicans and Southern Democrats met in secret and made a deal. Rutherford Hayes, the Republican candidate, would become president. In exchange, all federal troops, the ones protecting black rights, would be removed from the South. Yep, Northern Republicans sort of threw Southern black people under the bus. After the federal troops were gone, the guys in the pointy hats clamped down hard, and most African Americans now had a hard time voting for anyone. New Jim Crow laws stripped away many of the rights they had just won. So for many black people, the Compromise of 1877 felt like a betrayal at the hands of the Republican Party.
All right. So did you guys know about the Compromise of 1877? No, they're not teaching about the Compromise of 1877. They're not teaching us about none of that stuff. But I thought that what this guy was teaching was, it was enlightening enough for us to talk about it. Brother Corp, you're welcome, Brother Clarence. There was a history book about black Republicans when slavery ended or before it ended. I think it was both. Yeah, Abraham Lincoln was in the Republican Party. He was a Republican, and he's the one that freed the slaves. But don't think he freed the slaves because he had any kind of love for you. He freed you because to destabilize the economy of the South. I'm telling you, the South was getting ready to They was getting ready to make some serious. They was already making some serious money. They were making so much money they didn't have to tax the people. They didn't have to have taxes. That's what the Republican Party wants to go back to now. But actually, that like he just described at that time, that whole area was called those were all Democrats. Matter of fact, they called that area in the Deep South. They called them Dixiecrats, right? But yeah, Abraham Lincoln didn't have no love for us. He just wanted to destabilize the economy because I'm telling you, Eli Whitney. That I did a Black History Minute on that brother Eli Whitney. Go back and check that out. He created the cotton gin, man, and the cotton gin was about to make the South. It was about to be like how oil is made the Middle East, bro. It was about to just explode the South, and it was going pretty soon. They was going to have way more money than the North, and that's what broke the Civil War out. Simple as that. Simple as that. It wasn't about slavery. It was about money. But anyway, that's a whole nother topic. The question today is the Democratic Party like a cult? Is it like a cult? First of all, what is a cult? Oh, well, let me get to another chat here. Brother Corp, Abraham was compromising for their self-interest, making chess moves. Yeah, man. Well, I mean, if you about to surpass me in money, I'm telling you, South was making so much money they didn't have to collect taxes. That's how much money they was making, man. No, but they have to tax nobody. The North had to tax people, man. So that's how they got money for their government to run their central government. Whereas the South, they pretty much got together in secret and did what they wanted to do. They really didn't have a central government that they was a part of. But I mean, other than their little social groups they had, but that's how they ran their government. They just they didn't have to tax each other. They was all making tons of money off the cotton gin and tobacco and nicotine. So, I mean, not nicotine, excuse me, sugar. So they was just making tons of money. So how did we get to the point where our people are so they look at what, first of all, like I said, what's a cult? Let's look at what a cult is. Let's define a cult. What is a cult? Let's look at the definition of a cult. Cult, a system of religious veneration or devotion. Now, do Black people have devotion to the Democratic Party? Absolutely. Devotion directed toward a particular figure or object. A relatively small group of people having religious belief or practices regarded by others as strange or sinister. A misplaced or excessive admiration for a particular person or thing. There you go. Now that's the perfect definition, the third one. A misplaced or excessive admiration for a particular person or thing. Do Black people have a misguided interest for a particular person or thing? Yes, that particular thing is the Democratic Party. For some reason, they will stick to the Democratic Party no matter what. The Democrats can do whatever they want to do, say whatever they want to say, and our people would just go with the flow with it, man. They would just ride with them no matter what, no matter how bad things get. Good old Joe, they just roll with whoever comes up. Now, I can understand them going with the Democratic Party when Obama came up, because that was going to change the history, right? You're gonna have your first Black president, your first Black president that was in office. That people wanted to be a part of something like that. I get that, but most of the time, they're the Black politicians. They don't do anything. They can't do anything because once they get in office, like I said before, man, they have to do what the people that actually pay for them to get in the office want them to do. So you didn't pay them to do it. You didn't put no money in the pot. They're not gonna do nothing for you. Every once in a while, they'll open a rec center or something right before they get out of office, just to say they did do something for you, to push them into the next election. But most of them won't do anything for you. They can't do anything for you. They'll go and try to hoop and holler. I mean, no disrespect, Maxine Waters, but they'll go and hoop and holler like they're doing something. But if you really look at what's being done for us individually as Black people, what is being done? And we have so many needs that need to be met. We as descendants of the slave trade, we have so many needs that need to be met, but they're not doing it, right? Yet we still stick with the Democratic Party. Why? Why is that, man? Why is it that our people don't understand that you don't stick with no party, Democrat or Republican? You vote for who's going to do for you. Remember, Brother Be Easy put it out. Quid pro quo system. That's what you want to do. That's what we want to do. But why don't Black people get the quid pro quo system? Why are they so just like, I'm going to vote Democrat no matter what, no matter how much we don't get done, I'm going to stick with it. Like, why? Why? And what are we getting out of it? What are we getting out of it as Black people that we keep doing that? I said it before last time. You do that in gangbanging, man. You gangbanging, yeah. You can say, hey, I was born on this side and we moved over here, but I'm still with this side because that's where I was from. That's how gangbangers do it. But in the real world, what are we doing? What are we doing? Why don't we see that just voting for one party and putting all our eggs in that basket and then watching them just fall to the ground every year? Why don't we see that we need to change up our strategy? And who is benefiting from us staying with one party, just regardless? Who's benefiting from that? Democrats, they come into the Black neighborhood, if they come into the Black neighborhood. But if they do, what do they say? Don't vote for the Republicans because they're racist. Don't vote for the Republicans because they're racist. Don't vote for them because they're racist. That's it. That's all you got to tell Black people. Oh, they racist? Oh, you ain't got to worry about it. I'm rolling with the people that's not racist, right? And so they get in their mind that the Democratic Party is the party of the people that's not racist. Those white people are not racist. I don't know where you got that from. Brother Malcolm X said, Minister Malcolm said that Republicans and Democrats, they both wings off the same dirty bird. So, and politics is a dirty business, man. It's a business where, you know what I'm saying, you got to do some things that you probably didn't want to do, wasn't expecting to do, but now you got to do them, right? It's an ugly situation. Let me see. Brother Corp, it is because the Dems keep pandering to the Black vote during the election season, going to Black churches, schools, and Black celebrities. They used to, Brother Corp, they used to. They don't do that anymore. They don't have to. They don't even have to do that. All they have to do is say, don't vote for the Republicans, they're racist. That's all they have to do. Man, I'm telling you, bro, this race out here, this dude was running against Maxine Waters. Shout out to Maxine Waters. I mean, I don't know the lady, but I don't mean no disrespect. I'm just telling the truth. Black dude, brother, was running against Maxine Waters out here in California. This dude was giving away food. This dude was on the radio. He was doing all this stuff. He's spending all this money. And Maxine Waters, 3 weeks before the vote, came out and said, don't vote for him. He's a Republican. He's pushing Trump's program. That's all. That's it. She never came. She didn't give no food away. She didn't do nothing. She didn't even come down here. She made a radio ad. Shout out to her. I'm just telling you how they move when it comes to us. See, white people, you got to sit them down and say, this is what I'm going to do for you. I'm the Democratic candidate. This is what I'm going to do for you. Then the Republican candidate, he has a dinner and he tells you what he's going to do for you at that dinner. Right? Black community don't have that, man. You don't have that. They don't come here to do nothing. Only thing they do is say, don't vote for the Republicans because they're racist. So you just keep voting for the Democrats. So let me ask you a question. If you had a business and you had an employee that never did what you wanted done, they never got anything accomplished, they never did anything, would you give them the Employee of the Year award every year? I mean, eventually you're going to fire that employee, right? I don't understand. Politics and city, city business is the only place where you can fail your way to the top. You can do bad and get promoted. It's a crazy situation, man. But we're costing ourselves a lot. We don't realize it, right? We out here playing this game. We ain't even playing game. We are just sitting ducks, man. We just like sheep, man. They just say go into the poll and vote. And they don't even have to worry about what you're going to vote. They know 90% of you going to vote Democrat. So they don't even worry about you, man. They don't even have to advertise to you. They don't even have to talk to you. They don't have to even come into your neighborhood and tell you nothing, right? They do like Maxine Waters. 3 weeks before the election, they'll say, don't vote for the Republicans because they're racist. And you don't want to vote for no racist, right? You don't want to vote for no racist. So you say, okay, who's left? The Democrat. I'm going to vote for the Democrat. You don't know if he's racist or not. Right? You don't know nothing about him. Maxine Waters just blew this dude, the young guy. He was a Navy vet. They just blew him out of the water. Why? Only reason why they blew him out of the water is because he was a Republican. That's it. She didn't come out and say, I got better policies. I'm going to do more for you. I'm going to do this for you. She didn't say none of that. She said, don't vote for him because he's pushing Trump's program. It's crazy, man. Let's get some of these chats. Brother D, many politicians are millionaires, often attorneys. So what is their agenda in their politics? Control of global resources, which is much greater than your lawyer wealth, your personal achievements. Yeah, a lot of times. But you know what it is, Brother Daniel? A lot of times they have, remember when I was talking about social groups where they have the Kiwanis or the Post, or they got social groups that many of them elitists are part of these social groups, so that these deals are done. These deals are agreements are made on at those groups, on the golf course, at the what's it called, at the country club, at these club meetings. That's where there are all these judges and lawyers. They're all the members of these high societies, and so secret societies, and so that's where they agree on all of this stuff so that they can all make money together. It's an unfortunate situation. And we think, see, this is a problem that we have as Black people. We think appealing to their, if we appeal to these people and show them where they're wrong, they're going to change. That was the principle that Martin Luther King was promoting, was that these people had a heart to change. If we just sit there and show them how bad we feel when we get our heads bashed in, then they will see that that's wrong, and that will change their hearts. Not necessarily so. Not necessarily so. Some will, but most won't. That ain't gonna get it, especially ones in the government. They so far removed. What do they care if you getting your head bashed in? What do they care? You don't see them saying nothing. They say stuff when the stock market has issues. They'll come out and say, "Oh, this is terrible. People lost their money, this and that." Man, somebody like George Floyd gets killed, and you don't hear them saying nothing about that. Who do they care? Just another Negro getting stomped out, right? I'm just saying, when you at such an elite level, I'm talking about the black people too. That's at that level. When you at such a level, man, you don't even think about. You're so far removed from the regular people, man, that you don't even think it's a disease. A brother, what's his name? Dr. Khalid Muhammad called it leprosy. He said that's leprosy, man. When you think like that, when you think you're so far removed, just because you in one station in life, you just so far removed. Let's see. But Corp, facts. Yeah, we just trying to spit facts here. So when you leave from here and start talking, you don't be, people can't hit you with facts. And I don't want nobody to hit you with no facts after you leave here, and that is more reputable than the facts we gave you. Brother Arshawn, glad to have you in the building, brother. We have a lot of faulty practices. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to illuminate that here today, Brother Arshawn. I'm trying to illuminate the fact that we have false practices, especially, and one of the number one is following the Democratic Party like baby ducks following the big duck around. We just follow them and we'll follow them into the ditch. Brother Daniel made a good example in the last live stream. He said people trying to chase the buffalo or whatever, they figure out if they can make the first one go off the cliff, they don't need to even throw a spear. They can just watch them all go off the cliff, right? Right? I mean, but that's us. We following the Democratic Party where we making it so they don't even have to work. All that money they get from the political action committees, that's not even from us. That's from other people, but they don't even have to spend none of it on marketing to us because they know they got us already. They know they got us already, man. They don't have to work. They don't have to market nothing to us. Like I said before, they don't even come into the black community. It used to be they're coming to the church, and they come into churches and they sit down with you, or they go to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffle, eat a pork chop with you, or they do something with you to show that they with the team, that you on the right team. Now they don't have to do none of that. Now they don't do none of that, man. Trump made it so easy for them. They don't have to do none of it. All they got to say is they racist Republicans. Trump, they ought to thank Trump. They ought to go to Trump and say, thank you, Donald Trump. You made it so easy for us to make these black people toe the Democratic line. Because they just got it in for you. Like I told you, Maxine Waters never came over here and said, hey, this is what I'm going to do. When she had it wasn't, I have better things I'm going to do for you. I got better services for you. I got better, nothing. Just, he's a Republican. That was her only dividing point, is he's a Republican. Do you think they are that slow in the white community? You think you could go in the white community and say, this person's a Democrat? You used to could, right? You used to could go into the white community and say, hey, this person is a Negro. He's trying to run for office. Oh no, let's shut that down, right? Before we used to could do that. But you can't do that no more because a lot of some black people are with the Republican Party, right? Some of them are. Sister Keisha, glad to see you in the building. Hi, brother Clarence. He's here to learn. Hey, strap in, Sister Keisha, because we got a lot to cover today. We got a lot to cover. We're watching this video, and we're going to watch it all the way through. But I'm just kind of going through points because I know that some of y'all don't even realize, you never even heard of the agreement of 1877, where white people got together and said, okay, they said, if you in the North stop sending troops down here to make us have to work and play and do everything with black people, if you remove those troops, then we will chill. That's what the Southern white people say. We'll chill if you remove these troops. So they removed the troops. So guess what? Guess what replaced the troops that was helping black people? Black people was participating in the Reconstruction. They was making money. They was learning. They was going getting educated. They were going to school. The white people down there said, we don't want that no more. So you remove the troops was allowing that to happen. You remove the troops, there's no protection there, right? Guess what organization took over for the troops? First letter's a K, middle letter's a K, third letter's a K. And boy, if any group has shown besides the American government, the viciousness that some of these white people have for us, if any group really showed that, it was the KKK. They really showed a lot of viciousness towards us. And I don't, and most of their people say, oh, well, you know, they were just trying to show, they were just overzealous. No, just like they did up in DC, where they killed that cop. They killed the cop. But you know what? They won't say it. They call it an insurrection. They need to call it what it was, a rebellion, and they killed that cop. But see, these people, lawyers are so good, they call it insurrection. So you can't charge them with, what is that when you go against the government? I forgot the name of it now. It'll come to me later. But when you go against the government, they can charge you. That's a federal charge. They can charge you with that. Most of them didn't get charged with nothing like that. But Corp, do you think Maxine will retire soon? I don't know. You know, I don't know how old she is. But why should she? She got an easy ASF job, right? I mean, it's easy money. All she got to do is, you know, say, don't vote for him. He's a Republican. Another term. Don't vote for her. She's a Republican. Another term. Sedition. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you, brother Scorp. You're a very intelligent brother, like all of y'all are. I appreciate it. That's why I love my chat, man. People are so smart. Okay, yeah, sedition. Sedition. Thank you, Sister Don. Sedition. That, see, when they charge you with sedition, bro, you can be shot. You can get the death penalty for sedition, right? But they lawyers were so smart, they said it was an insurrection. What the hell is an insurrection? And is that on the law? Is that in any of the laws? And how can you charge somebody with an insurrection? You can't, right? But these people got good lawyers, man, so they called it an insurrection instead of saying what it was a rebellion. It was seditious acts, right? Which you can be tried, and back in the day, they would hang you for it. They hang you for it, or you face a firing squad, right? For sedition. But they didn't want to call it sedition, right? But they know what they're doing, man. They know what they're doing. Like I said, they got the game sold up. They got the game set up. So anyway, we're going to watch a little bit more of this video because I thought it was really interesting.
Then comes the Great Migration. Living with these guys in charge wasn't much fun, to put it mildly. So millions of African Americans abandoned the South for jobs in new factories in northern cities like Chicago, Cleveland, and Philadelphia. And guess what? In the North, you could vote. Many transplanted African Americans still felt a loyalty to the party of Lincoln. But given the fact that no one in Washington was paying much attention to the needs of black families, the NAACP in 1926 argued that blacks should be loyal to neither party. Between 1868 and 1898, 22 African American representatives were sent to Congress from the South. After federal troops left, Bourbon Democrats' elimination of black votes was so complete that when Oscar DePriest was elected to Congress from Chicago in 1929, there hadn't been an African American in Congress for 30 years. Like all the black congressmen from the 19th century, DePriest was a Republican. And then the Depression. Black workers in northern cities were hit hard, with unemployment rates twice as high as white workers. Underwhelmed by Republican President Herbert Hoover's response to the crisis, Americans of all stripes, including African Americans, found hope in the progressive New Deal programs of Franklin Roosevelt, a Democrat. Roosevelt received overwhelming support from northern black voters. When the next African American candidate, Arthur Mitchell, also from Chicago, won a seat in Congress in 1934, he was something Washington had never seen before: a black Democrat. Over the next 20 years, African Americans continued voting for both Republican and Democratic candidates, and various civil rights measures were proposed by both Democrats and Republicans. Though today this seems hard to believe, there used to be conservative and progressive wings of both parties. In the Democratic Party, the progressives were northern urban Democrats. The conservatives were the Southerners, which, of course, included these guys. In the Republican Party, the progressives were folks like the liberally minded Rockefeller family. For years, to be a progressive Republican was to be a Rockefeller Republican. The conservative wing was made up of those who wanted the federal government to stay small and stay out of their business. Both conservative Northern Republicans and conservative Southern Democrats opposed the federal government getting bigger and launching more programs. So from the early days of Roosevelt's New Deal right up through the 1960s, a coalition of conservative Republicans and conservative Democrats managed to block just about every attempt at new civil rights legislation. In fact, between 1953 and 1965, more than 120 civil rights measures were considered by the Senate. Almost every one was killed by the Senate Judiciary Committee, a powerful committee at the time controlled by Southern Democrats and conservative Northern Republicans. As the years went by, many more of the new civil rights efforts were proposed by Northern Democrats and fewer by Republicans, motivating more Black Americans to vote Democrat with regularity. Yet Southern Democrats were still stalling or blocking nearly every bill. The strain between pro-civil rights Northern Democrats and anti-civil rights Southern Democrats was reaching a breaking point, and that break would radically alter American politics. Meet Strom. Strom Thurmond ran for president in 1948 and served in the Senate from 1954 till 2003. Yes, that's a very long time. His career almost perfectly illustrates the shift in political parties over the last 80 years. Strom Thurmond was a Southern Democrat and governor of South Carolina in the late 1940s. He hadn't had a huge problem with Roosevelt's New Deal since Roosevelt didn't mess with segregation in the South. But when Roosevelt's Democratic successor, Harry Truman, integrated the Army in 1948 and proposed aggressive civil rights legislation, Southern Democrats like Thurmond had had enough. Thurmond and a group of Southern Democrats protested by forming the States' Rights Democratic Party, a conservative party dedicated to preserving segregation. Thurmond ran for president against Truman in 1948. A sample of his stump speech: "There's not enough troops in the Army to force the Southern people to break down segregation and admit the Negro race into our theaters, into our swimming pools, into our homes, and into our churches."
You're right, man. Sorry, thank you, brother D. Yeah, you're right, man. They're everyone other than us is planning for expecting rule without law. They're training guerrilla tactics, food gathering, and survival skills as young as 3 years old, and we aren't. You're right, brother D. That's a whole other conversation. So we gonna yeah, I'm on mute. Am I still on mute, y'all? Can y'all hear me now? I think I have my mic on. Can y'all hear me now? Somebody let me know if my mic is still on, if my mic is still off, because it should be on now. Can y'all hear me? 1, 2, 3. I don't have my headphones on, so I can't hear whether I'm coming through or not. Hopefully I am. Good. Okay, thank you, sir. Yeah, yeah, they're not no, we're not acting like that, but they're preparing for when they get surrounded, because white people know that eventually they're going to be surrounded. And so, and it's not in a military style way. It's just we're having babies, they're not having babies. The Latinos are having babies, they're not having babies. Asians are having babies, they're not having babies. So they know they're going to be surrounded at some point. So they're preparing for how they're going to handle that situation, right? And you know, and we know from their history, a lot of times they can be very vicious people, man. Very, very vicious people. So we're not preparing for the viciousness that we may encounter dealing with them. So that's unfortunate, but that's a whole nother topic. Right now, we're talking about this this haze we got over our eyes for the Democratic Party. We just got this haze over. We got something over us that now what is over us that we think that the Democratic Party is so beneficent. Why do we think that? I understand that we don't want to be down with nobody that's racist. You say the word racist to the average black person, it's going to trigger them in the total opposite direction. You say the word this person's a racist, that's going to trigger the average black person, right? Especially the millennials who don't even know what the definition of the word is. They take the word racist for bigoted. A racist and a bigot are two different things. They're two separate. A racist can be a bigot, but a bigot is not necessarily a racist. Why? Because the bigot might not have the power. The racist has the power to employ his bigotry, to indulge his bigotry. The racist has the power. You got to have power to be a racist. You don't have power, you're not a racist. You can't be racist. You can be bigoted. Bigotry is an opinion. It's an opinion. Racist is actual. You can make some stuff happen. You can cause an effect. You can make cause and effect. A bigot can't cause no effect. They can just talk and talk, trigger people talking, but you can't cause anything to happen. Whereas a racist can cause things to happen, and a system can be racist. You can have a system where it says you can't vote because of the color of your skin. You can't do this because of the color of your skin. You can't do that because you was born with this color of skin. Those are systems in place. Those are racist systems, right? They'll stop you. They can stop you from enjoying, economically achieving. They can stop you from doing a lot of different things, right? But a lot of our people don't realize, hey, there's a difference between the word bigotry and racism. They have taken the connotation of racism and made it to mean bigotry instead of actually knowing what you're actually talking about. So I like actual facts, man. That's the way I like to do it. Let me see, but Corp. I think a generation tradition. If you don't vote Democrat, you ain't black. Yeah, there you go. There you go, bro. Corp. That is, you know what? That's the ultimate situation. If you ain't towing the company line, you ain't black. You turning your back on your people. So they make you think you turning your back on your people if you don't vote Democrat, even though the Democrats don't do nothing for you outside of what the Republicans do. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing for you, Democrat or Republican, unless you force them to do it. I remember Obama was saying that this lady was talking to him. Oh no, it was a lady saying that she had a meeting with Obama, right? And she was telling him, hey, we need this XYZ thing done. We need that done. And Obama said, make me do it. Make me do it. What was he saying when he said, make me do it? In other words, you can tell me what you want, but unless you put me in a position where I have to do it, I'm not going to do it because I got to do all this other stuff. You got to put me in the position where I have to do that. You got to put me in a public position where I have to do that. But black people, we don't get it. I'm appealing to you, Democrats, because you ain't racist. See, you love me. And it's a sick psychological situation that we have as black people, the PTSD, where we want the love of the white people. We want their love so bad. We want to prove to them that they don't have to be mean to us. We want to prove it to them so bad. We willing to do all this different stuff, craziness, just to prove that to them. Really ridiculous situation, man. But if you really got some social people, like I wish I would have had the kosher clinician in here to break that kind of stuff down. Brother D, God is beneficent, the merciful. God is the beneficent and the merciful, not the Caucasian. They are not the same. I know, Brother D, but our people don't see it that way, man. They don't see it that way. They want the love of the Caucasians so bad, man. So bad they want their approval and acceptance so bad that they willing to follow this horrible course of action to continue. We'll work with you. We work with you. You know, they see just enough. It's like you see just enough good white people so that you say, man, I'm sure if enough of them see this and appeal to their goodness, enough of them will turn. No, not most of them. A lot of them will. And that's God make their heart. But most of them, if most of them would turn, they would have already turned. The most of them, they're going to need a push. They're going to need a reason to do what's right by us. It's not going to be a appeal to them, to their, it's not going to be appeal to their moral standards. It's going to be, and they need a push. They need they need us to have, like we were talking about earlier. You got to have industries that you can choke off. Once you choke that industry off, just imagine if we could get every athlete, every entertainer to say, we're not performing until these things get done. We're not doing nothing until these things get done. We all stuck together like that. If we did, or what would really hurt America, we are the biggest consumer group in America, black people. We are the biggest consumer group. Most people spend maybe up to 60% of their income before they start trying to save money stuff. Black people will spend up to 92% of their income, their gross income, their net income, 92% of their net income, buying cars and houses and this and that. They spend up to 92% of their net income. We are the biggest consumers here. If we just say, hey, we're not gonna consume anything anymore until this stuff gets right. But like I said before, they play these semantic games with us. They tell you, oh, if white people get together and they decide they're going to do something for white people to make things better for white people, they are patriots. They're patriotic. If black people get together to do something to make things better for black people, they're racist. You militant. you militant. You ain't got no, you got a bad, it's something sinister in what you're doing. Brother Corp, realize I forgot to type the word vote. Don't worry about it, Brother Corp. We know what you meant. We know what you mean. Yeah, I heard, matter of fact, I heard good old Joe say that himself. Heard him say it. So I know that he's a piece. You know what I'm saying? He's a piece. Unfortunately, our people just gave him the vote, just gave it to him for the only one reason that man got in office. And he had probably the easiest run for president of any person that ever ran for president because he had to run against Trump, and all the people wanted was Trump to be out. I'm talking about just people voting. Now, I'm not talking about all this other stuff, the violence and all that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just going out and telling people, hey, don't vote for Trump. You know what you're getting there. Well, shit, we know we're getting with you. We're getting pretty much the same thing, just under another name. Brother D, we can choke off every industry and vertical than anyone else. So don't spend no dollars for 3 weeks and see what happens. That's a good idea, brother. Hey, brother Dan, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. I wish we could promote that. That is a very good idea. Very, very good idea. Brother E Black in the house. What's good, brother Clarence? I'm going to catch up on the replay. Have a good stream. Thank you for the drive-by like, brother E Black. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. Yeah, man, that was a good idea. That's actually a good idea, brother D. That's actually a good idea, man. I wish there was some kind of way we could capsulize that information and put it out as a thing to do. That's a very good idea. Brother Corp sending out peace and blessings to E Black TV, and brother E Black is sending it back. Yeah, E Black is one of our hardcore driving soldiers too. Good dude, good dude. Like all of y'all. Anyway, yeah, man. It's a touchy situation. That's why I picked this video that we're watching, because he doesn't go into it. Obviously, can't go into it in a 15-minute video, but he definitely hits on a lot of the points which made it to the way where it is today, where black people, they clinging on to the Democratic Party like they're getting something out of it, and they're not really getting nothing out of it. I don't have we shouldn't be beholden to no party. We should be beholden to whoever's going to move for us, because white people are like that. White people will vote for they'll cross the aisle at any time. They'll cross the aisle at any time. Whoever's going to do what they want them to do so that they can have a better lifestyle, that's what they're going to go with. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm saying we haven't caught up yet. They playing chess, we playing checkers. Hell, we ain't even playing checkers, man. We playing tiddlywinks. We're not even on the same level. We just nowhere around. And anytime we try to catch up, they give us a bunch of word salad or a bunch of semantics that'll throw us off. And then we'll be like, oh man, yeah, if I vote Republican, something wrong with me. Who's the sister Candace Owen? Oh, there's something wrong with me for voting Republican. I don't want to be like her. She ain't with her people. You got to ride with your people. What if your people are riding the wrong goddamn way? What if your people are riding the wrong way? Do you have the balls to stand up to your people and tell them, you riding the wrong way? You can pull out the information and say, this is what the Democrats have done. This is what the Republicans have done. Pretty much the same thing. And when it comes to us, pretty much nothing. I mean, we look at it like that. That's the reality of the situation. So then, the question, and I'm gonna put the whoever wants to cam up, I'm gonna put it out here. But why? Why do we have this situation, and why is it good? Is it good that, first of all, are we all in agreement that black people view the Democratic Party from a cult-like perspective, where it doesn't matter, like Jim Jones? How many of y'all remember Jim Jones in Jonestown? You remember Jim Jones, Jonestown? And all cults, they all start off good. They all start off from a good premise, right? Waco, Texas, they all start off with a good premise. My wife had relatives that was in Jonestown. Relatives. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was crazy. She had relatives in Jonestown. She had a grandfather and a grandmother that was over there. You know why? because the grandfather could not talk the grandmother out of it. She was like, I'm selling everything. I'm going with Father Jim. What's his name? Father Jim. I'm going with Father Jim. That's what they called him, Father Jim. What, Father what? They called him Father Jim. I'm going with Father Jim. Then what could the man do? He had no choice. He couldn't let her go out there by herself. He went with her, right? Today you can have somebody committed. You can say, hey, you could commit this person. We could commit this person, right? But back then, you can't commit no old black lady. She following Father Jim out there. You know how they survived? He got sick, and he got sent to the infirmary. So he wasn't there when they actually drank the Kool-Aid. To the bathroom right before the shit popped off. And she was in the bathroom the whole time. Think about that. Think about that. How lucky do you have to be? She comes out the bathroom. She sees nothing but dead bodies, man. Hundreds of dead bodies. A mess. A mess. But that's what I'm saying. When you follow these cults and you follow them so far, man, something bad's gonna happen at the end of it. Something bad's gonna happen at the end of it. We not thinking about that as a group. Brother Corp, I remember. Yeah, you remember Brother Corp. I mean, you seem kind of young to remember that stuff, but I'm glad you remember. I'm glad you remember that stuff, man. Because, yeah, man, these cults, man, they bad. Remember Waco? That was another one, man. I mean, it's been all kind of them. Where the people just follow no matter what. No matter what. And it's just crazy, man. Brother D, yes, brother, but we still do not have a unified agenda backed by a PAC or money. We're moving nowhere. Yeah, I'm saying, brother, we got to educate our people, man. I mean, they're uneducated. They're the uneducated masses. And how will they learn if they don't have a teacher? And how will they have a teacher unless he be sent or she be sent? But you know what they say about a prophet, right? Prophet teaching all this good stuff, and a prophet is without honor in his own home. I mean, your own people, they're not gonna revere you like they should, because they don't understand. They think unless you got a degree from the Caucasian university, that's the only way to prove that you got knowledge, is having degrees from. And Malcolm disproved that. Malcolm X disproved all that. He used to go to Harvard and Yale and whip on them people up there. Just whip on them. No college degree, nothing. Whipping on the best lawyers that America is putting out there. But we got to educate our people. But Malcolm X was educated in a disciplined way. He was educated, and he had to accept that discipline. Most of our people don't want no discipline because Caucasian society steers you away from this self-discipline. Uh-oh. Oh, my man. This looks like Be Easy that dude. Be Easy. Is that you, man? Put your finger up. Put me at number 1, man. All right, brother, because I got to make sure you ain't you ain't stalking me or something, brother. Be Easy. I'm going to bring you up. Hold on 1 second, man. Let me read this chat. Brother Scott, in Guyana, there was a secret one in Jamaica, an occult pastor. Big news in Jamaica. Yeah, I mean, there was a guy recently, right? Hold on 1 second. We're gonna bring on the brother. Brother, Be Easy. What's up with you, man?
What's happening? Hey, I just tuned into the show. Usually we be our schedules don't align, so I seen the link, so I had to hop on there. Plus the title too, you know.
Yeah, man. Glad you was able to finally dip in here, man. What's going on, man? What do you think about What we talking about, man? Do you think the Democratic Party is a cult for black people? I mean, do you think they approach it like that?
Absolutely. It was one of those, I don't know the exact president. I think it was LBJ, but you know that quote where they're saying, you know, they're gonna have black people voting Democratic for the next 200
That
years.
was LBJ. Yeah, LBJ. Yeah, man. Yeah.
So
yeah.
isn't that cult-like talk? Isn't that cultish talk? And then when you look at how they've had a stronghold on the political landscape, and this is the one quote that always seems to just get black folks voting Democratic: the lesser of two evils. I don't know. That's all they gotta say.
Right?
They say, "Oh, we bad, but we less bad." And then blacks, and then this is you got black. That's right. We don't want to vote for the racist Republicans. So I'm thinking, like, what?
That's what they say, brother.
And then
say. Brother
the
D,
reason why it's also
hold on, brother. Be easy. Hold on, brother. Be easy. Brother D, you got a little echo, man. I think you got the YouTube still on. Yeah, you got the YouTube still on, man. You got to turn that down. Okay, brother, be easy. I'm sorry. Go ahead, man. Finish your thought.
Oh yeah. So I also want to just say that regardless of every Republican conservative ideal is considered as racist, right? To the point that they won't even consider it. And it can be Trump, it can be any GOP operative proposing a policy, but just because it's under the Republican or conservative title, when the bill or legislation is proposed, they will not vote for it at all.
They won't even look at it, right?
They won't even look at it. Right? It doesn't make any sense.
Hold on, brother D. Hold on.
They want to talk about HBCUs, but then they won't acknowledge the money that Trump gave to HBCUs, you know? And I mean, you know, this is the first time me coming up, but in the chat, we talk about it all the time. Every group understands the quid pro quo, especially I'm hanging around Asians and Jewish people. A bunch of them is Republican, a bunch of them is Democrat. But when it's time to vote, they Jewish. When it's time to vote, they Chinese or they Afghanistan. But see, when it's blacks, you got Joe Biden allowed to look somebody in the face, look another black man in the face and say, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Please tell me one Jewish person that would have allowed that. Please tell me one Chinese person that would allow that. But and then you know what? I had posted some on my Facebook. You know who I had attacking me? Black women. Yeah. Black women was going at me saying, oh, you want Trump to get elected? Because I was basically saying F Joe Biden, and I was saying F them both, really. But if you want to talk to me about racism, Trump didn't have a history of racist policies. Did he say some racist things? So what? I don't care. I don't care what he said. What did he do? Right? Because I'm under the assumption that they all racist, but who is going to do the most for us? That's all that matters. He said some racist stuff to peep this. He said hella racist stuff towards Mexicans. And what did they do? They voted Republican.
They bought shit.
When they trying to keep their money, they gonna vote Republican. But we the only ones who want to do this virtual signaling and morality police. I'm like, I'll point you to the nearest ghetto. It ain't no morality in the ghetto. But then when it comes to election, we can't vote for Trump because of the morality. Like, what is y'all talking about? And I mean, I got a lot more to say, but I'm gonna let Brother D get in because, man, this one of them topics that it never gets talked about, right? You can't rely on the lamestream media to talk about it, and then the quote unquote black media follow the money. It's not really black media. They're getting paid substantially, not by black people, to kind of everything has to go through the white filter. So is that really black media? Like, they got to say what they got to say, and then they could say, we don't think you should touch on that topic. Is that truly black media? That sounds like censorship, but follow the money. I'm gonna let Brother D cook, and I you know, we gonna rock tonight.
Don't go nowhere. Be easy. Hang tight, because I gotta ask you something. I got, you know, Brother D.
Oh no, I'm here into the stream over.
Okay, cool, man. Hold tight. Brother D, glad you're in the building. Can you hear me, man? Oh, we can't hear you. You muted, man. You muted yourself. Yeah, and I can't unmute you, brother. I can't. You have to unmute yourself.
All right, you hear me now?
There you go. There you go. Perfect, man.
All right. Brother, be easy, man. Much love to you.
What else
brother.
can you say, right?
Much love to you, man. I wasn't really gonna come on, but I like to come on every now and then if I can, just like you probably do. And because we need to have conversations that most will not have. And we need to be talking to each other, you know what I mean? And that's kind of how I feel, because a lot of us are not talking to each other. We listen to this white media. Well, we got this black media out here too.
We let these other groups do the talking for us, right? We the only group that let the white media elect our leaders. The Jewish people, they say, look, this is our leader, and this is who y'all need to put on. The white people say, look, don't you like Stacey Abrams? Don't you like Barack Obama? Don't you like Andrew Gillum? It's like, no, nobody picked these people.
y'all pick them up and y'all push them out there, right?
But see, this goes back to the whole agenda aspect. We have to be on an agenda as a collective. We can't be over here and other people over there. And like I said, we got to leave the ones behind that's not going to move forward. But the bottom line is, you gotta have your pack, and you got to bring your money, because everybody else is coming with their money, and they have a very solid agenda as to what we're going to do, and they ain't saying nothing else.
Okay, Brother D.
And this is why I'm putting you where I'm putting you. So
Brother
unless we do that, forget it.
Brother D, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you see, and our people see that they're not getting nowhere. They're not putting no money in the pot. They're not coming with a strong agenda, a general agenda. I mean, yeah, you can have a local agenda for your local neighborhood, but they're not coming with a strong national agenda, and nothing's happening, nothing's getting done. How can we continue to blame white people for that? And how can we educate our people to say this is not working right? Like, just like Brother Be Easy was saying, this is not working right. How do we educate them and get them to see? Because like you guys were saying, they're not going to see this on the national news. They're not going to address this point. They get paid to go around it, right? How can we get our people to see this stuff? Is it going to be a grassroots movement, or what has to happen for our people can see this information, get this information?
We have to do it like we did it back in the day when you and I were growing up. We got to do one person at a time, and when ain't nobody hearing you, you gotta kind of walk past them and talk to the people that can hear you, and try to teach the younger ones, because the younger ones are the ones we need to be dealing with, because they are the revolution, and they're not afraid to get out in the streets, and they're not talking about walking around with no signs, doing all that stuff, because they saw some of them videos from back in the day. And we were growing up around that time. We were the children, and we saw folks getting hosed down and dogs with it. And these folks ain't putting up with that, man.
Yeah.
So even though we're 13, 14% economy as far as population, you got to do one at a time. But the bottom line is you got to stay on the battlefield. You know what I'm saying? If you're not on the battlefield, then it doesn't mean the war ain't being fought. You can go get in the bleachers if you want, but some of us are still out here running around that track.
Right.
Whether you passing the baton or not. But at the end of the day, we got to stay out there. We can't fight a war that's already been incumbent upon us and keep talking about, we got to bring all. We don't need everybody, because everybody ain't going to ride with us.
Right.
The warriors are going to ride with us, male, female, and child.
Right.
And we already identify who they are. So everybody is still sitting in the bleachers, then let them sit in the bleachers.
Right. Brother Be Easy. I had a question for you, man. If we can see, because you're a little younger than me and Brother D. So how do we get the younger people to see this information and accept it, brother? Like what would they need to see to accept that, man, just hanging with one party is not gonna get it? Like, they doing it now, but what would they need to see to say, you know what, hey man, this don't make no sense?
Well, unfortunately, since we are a backwards community, I think it would need some backwards, unconventional methods that it would require. So I think you got to meet these young folks where they at, and where they at is always in music, TikTok, memes, and all this type of stuff. But if you repurpose it in the way of information, because they're going to be on there anyways, right? But the things that they're seeing is not substantial. However, I think more people, instead of like deep, because let's be honest, you can pick a scholar like Cornel West and he can say the most profound thing, but is he going to garner the attention as Jay-Z? Is he going to garner the attention of any of your local rappers? You see what Joe Biden did? He could have chose any black scholar, and who did he choose? Cardi B, who's not even really even black. Chose to do an interview with her, and it had millions of views. So while it was pandering and placating, it did kind of make him seem like he was cool or hip and stuff like that in a backwards type way. Now, imagine if that energy was channeled, you brought all of the eyes, from a celebrity, but you told them what they won't say on mainstream media. See, most of these celebrities, all they care about is their pockets. So they're no different than the mainstream media, because you get them and then you hear them say something about Black Lives Matter, right? Like the NBA players, they'll wear the shirt, but then they won't go any further than that. But that's what we need, because how many boys in the hood, they not looking up to be doctors. They not looking up to be lawyers. They not even looking up to be garbage men and plumbers. But what they are looking up to be is rappers. They are looking up to be athletes. That's who really needs to speak up. Yes, is it backwards? Yes, but nobody could not say. Most people, it's unfortunate, but most people listen to rappers more than they listen to the president.
But let me stop you right there, brother Beezy, and I want you to respond to this, because I'm gonna play the other side of that. A lot of them have what they call publicists. They got handlers, and the publicists will say, "You cannot speak about this." Remember Michael Jordan? They used to ask Michael Jordan all kind of questions. What do you think about the black situation? And Michael Jordan would tiptoe right around it, because they have handlers. A lot of them, these entertainers, they have handlers and publicists that tell them, if you say anything about that, you're going to affect your bag. So don't say nothing about it in the public. And that's, unfortunately, that's the position they get squeezed in. Now, with that being said, brother Be Easy, now what?
No, I totally agree with that. That's why I don't agree with a lot of these. That's why people need to wake up and stop supporting a lot of them, because, okay, I understand it will mess up your bag, but once you've already amassed a certain amount of millions, like, what more are you getting the bag for? You're just getting the bag because let's say these dudes, they come from the hood, right? And then, bro, you want the hood to still keep supporting you. How the hell could they support you, when they struggling? Because that's what you rapping about. You rapping about struggle rap, but you're not building it up, right? They want to talk about the white supremacists, but as soon as you get out the hood, you go move to a white neighborhood. Yeah. You don't go back to that hood. And then the only person that can enforce the hood is the Pookies and Ray Rays, right? So if you was a rapper, a Pookie and Ray Ray, and moved out, you know what I'm saying? And I'm cut from that cloth, so I know. So it's like, if you move out and then you want to keep rapping about the hood that you don't even live in, to me, that's how is that not white supremacy, right? You crying about white supremacy, but as soon as you get the opportunity, you go try to move in a white neighborhood. Yeah. But you basically are conceding that this area, this ideology, this patriarchal structure is superior. So why, you know what I'm trying to say? But that's what it would take. It would take for these athletes and rappers and stuff to stop being so selfish and just say, you know what, bro, I made 50 million. I made this, because it's not like they are not still going to earn money, right? They may lose some endorsements, but they're not going to lose all their endorsements. So I think it's just a lot of greed and selfishness. And to the point that you said, at some point we can blame racism and white supremacy, but that only goes so far. You can't be saying Joe Biden don't got a black agenda, and then you never came up with an agenda.
Right.
Think about how stupid this is, right? White supremacy is supposed to hate black people. So why the hell would they come up with a black agenda to help us? Right? Why would they come up with an agenda to help us? That's just like we're the Lakers and the Nets. Why would I come up with plays that's gonna help you score on the effect? It's idiotic and delusional, and it's a form of menticide, which is like brainwashing programming, because you, as much as you hating on white supremacy, you're still waiting for a white savior in the form of a white person to save you. How is that not sick?
Good old Joe. Good old Joe.
Yeah, bro, they calling him Uncle Joe. I don't know. Yeah, right. I don't know where that came from. No, and then peep this. And look, bro, I love my people. But you know what Bill Clinton had to do to say that he was the first black president? Yeah. He played a saxophone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hillary Clinton, in front of another black man, said that she keeps hot sauce in her bag.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It don't take much
for them, man.
It don't take. Hey, where was the black outrage? Where was we got more black people mad at Dave Chappelle than Hillary Clinton doing that, than Joe Biden saying you ain't black. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's unfortunate, but all of that stuff I said was just hella backwards. So it's gonna take some unconventional backwards type of methods. I mean, we live in a gynocracy. Right? A matriarchy. That's backwards. All of these other groups have a patriarchy led by the men. But all of these, it has been systemic where they've given black women power to, usurp the black man's authority. But they didn't have to. They didn't have to willingly take it either, right? Like, they chose. They had a choice: keep your family intact or get this government check. Well, they didn't have to take that check.
They didn't have to, but I think they didn't look at it that way, brother, because it wasn't laid out to them like that. They was laid out to them like, you're gonna be your own boss, man. Hold on, y'all. Let me get to this chat real. I got Brother Corp here. He said Cardi B is not even black. I think she said she is retiring from politics because of the Republicans. Yeah, they went after her, man. They went after her hard. But our people are they're so scared of the viciousness that they're going to receive trying to do things to promote good to us as black people as a unit that stops them, that holds them back from doing stuff, because some of our people in those positions that you was talking about, brother, Be Easy, they want to help us, but they feel like their hands are tied because so many people's jobs and employment is tied to them. If they go out there and they step out there and make a stand, all that's gonna go down the drain. What do you say about that, Brother D?
Well, I think the same question that you asked Brother Be Easy, I answered previously, and I believe you said, what are we going to do to turn a lot of these folks around? Well, we got to be where they be at. We got to talk their same language, because they're not going to speak to us old heads. A lot of the old heads is talking like they don't even want to talk to you.
Right.
And a lot of younger folks are turned off because they're like, why are they treating us with total disrespect? So if we're going to reach them, we got to change our way of thinking. And they're probably going to be more reached, like he said, by the people that they engage with, the rappers, the singers, and things of that nature. But a lot of those folks are just chasing the bag. They're not really looking at the big picture and saying, okay, now we need to get out of the bag and get back to the community. Because 50 Cent got shot up by his own homeboys because he wasn't bringing them up.
Right.
So I'm not concerned about how much money you made as a millionaire. I've been a millionaire multiple times. But how many people have I brought up? We're not concerned about your cars that you bought, not all this stuff that you got. Who did you bring with you? Kevin Hart, I know him personally. He's from North Philly. I'm from Philly.
Okay.
All his homies is with him.
Okay.
They needed jobs. They needed a come up, and he brought them up, and they were loyal to him.
Okay.
But everybody else, they're not doing that. So when we start talking serious matters such as this, if we're not trying to bring it back to the community in a realistic way, like Brother Be Easy said, a lot of these people are just selfish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the bottom line. You know, if you're not bringing nobody with you, it's okay. You got all this, but you ain't showing me how to get it. You know what I mean?
The majority of our people are selfish, especially the politicians. NAACP, follow the money. When have you heard NAACP or Congressional Black Caucus like vehemently fight for like reparations? And I'm not trying to act like the reparations is just the only hill to die on, but just because someone point to me anything that the NAACP has done that all they do is represent people when a white cop kills a black dude. Other than that, follow the money. Look who's funding them. Black people is not funding them. The Congressional Black Caucus, bro, it's the biggest caucus in there, but they get the least amount done. Why is that? And then peep this. Biden is talking about the immigrants that was separated under Trump's policies, right? But he don't want to talk about who built those cages. Him and Obama built the cages, right? But nobody wants to talk about that. You can't say that because Obama is a beloved figure. So they built the cages. Trump filled the cages up. Yeah. And then Biden filled the cages up again. But see, when Trump did it, they called them cages. When Biden did it, they called them migrant facility centers, right? Exactly. So I'm saying all this to say Biden is saying that, okay, some of the kids got separated. So this is a report, bro. They're talking about giving them up to $450,000 to $1 million per family because he said it's not right that they were separated. That's a form of reparations. They didn't do no policy. I mean, they didn't do no hearings. They're not doing no congressional hearings, right? Right. That's just in the snap of a fingers, because these Latinos, they like, yeah, bro, we getting something done. But where's the Congressional Black Caucus? You know what they doing for reparations? They are having hearings. Right. But you don't know about it. They call it HR 40 or something because reparations is too divisive, right? But they give reparations it's just a euphemism for handouts, right? They give all these other handouts and reparations by other names. But when it comes to blacks, where's the CBC fighting for them? My bad. I just got a message.
It's all good. I just want to pick up where he kind of. Can you hear me, brother?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh yeah, my bad. I was getting a call. I was just gonna say, where's the CBC in fighting in this? Where's the CBC leading the black agenda? All these other groups, bro. Look at that Asian hate bill. It was no hearings or nothing. In the snap of your finger, you blinked, and they had an Asian hate bill. Who's really received the most hate in this country? There's no type of black hate bill. Lynching is not even considered a hate crime. I think they just are trying to make it one in 2021. Where's the CBC on this? Like I said, all of them, but look at them. They're all rich. They're all they care about is just getting reelected. Look at some of those black districts. RIP to Elijah Cummings, but the other dude, Cedric Richmond in Louisiana, crime infested. He had some of the most worst areas, bro. They didn't even have clean water. But he said, vote for me because I'm black. And it's a majority black district. Right. Come on, bro. That's selfishness right there.
You know what my thought
we're way too selfish.
That's the problem.
You know what my thought pattern is, and maybe I'm wrong as hell for saying what I'm about to say. But we've been over here, 500 years? Yes. And we keep looking for reparations from people that have no intentions on doing it. They're thumbing their nose at you every day when they brought and saying, oh, we can do all this stuff for the Mexican immigrants. They brought the Afghans over here with no problem.
Right. Bro, I'm in the
thing. They're giving the money, and we're still running around begging people that have no intention for 500 years of doing anything.
Right.
So what's that? What do we need to do? We need to forget
We
about
still don't see it.
it.
Still
We need to
don't see
forget about
it.
that.
Well, let me ask both of y'all. Let's just break it down. What if, getting back to our topic, if the Democratic Party is a cult, and we remember cults, you guys remember Jamestown. Jamestown was a cult. We followed this man all the way over to Guyana so that he could literally talk them into death. Waco, Texas, that was a cult. They followed that man over there and stayed there, and most of them end up losing their lives, and most of the people that lost their lives was children under the age of 10 years old. They lost a lot of their lives, right? What's going to happen to us if we follow a cult like that? If we follow a cult that's similar, where there's a goat. There's a goat called a Judas goat. I don't know if y'all familiar with the Judas goat, but the Judas goat. Let me explain for the listeners. The Judas goat is a goat that they use to kill sheep. And how does the Judas goat work? The Judas goat is a little tiny goat that the sheep will follow this goat into the slaughterhouse. But there's a little door on the side that the Judas goat is small enough to get out that door. The sheep are too big. They can't get out the door. But the Judas goat can get out. So he leaves them in there, and then he gets out, and then once the Judas goat is out, they turn the gas on for him, right? And I'm saying, how are we going to get our people to understand and see this? Because we're talking about it, and we're talking about all the things that need to be done, but until our people see that this democratic machine is not working for them, how are we going to get them to see that this is not working? And just arbitrarily giving your vote to one party is going to be the downfall, and has been the downfall of us. How are we going to get them to see it? Either one of you guys, go ahead and take it.
Honestly, that's why I actually wanted Trump to win, not because I'm a Trump supporter, but that's the only, it seemed to be the only way that we were getting somewhat politically active, right? But it was for the wrong reason. Like, people would start paying attention more to politics, but then it was one-sided. See, we need to have that same energy of political awareness, but be critically thinking, not allowing the media and other pundits to think for yourself. Like, the energy that I seen was good. The thing is, it was cognitive dissonance. It was bias only to one side.
Right.
Now, if we came collective like that and just were saying, okay, this Republican plan is not that bad. This Democrat plan, I don't really like it. So if we came with it with some sort of objectivity, but see that right now we are our political awareness is just like, if we had a grade, Black people would consistently get an F, because all we do is just blindly just give it to one party, even in a negotiation, right? Let's say it was a negotiation between Walmart and Target, right? And you just side with Target all the time. Like, that's not a balanced negotiation. You're not even trying to hear what Walmart has to offer, because it's just like, nope, I'm aligned with Target, or I like the Target. And this is the main thing too. We value as a people symbolism over substance, right?
Right.
We were excited over a George Floyd statue. I'm sorry, that George Floyd statue was disrespectful as fuck. Why should I be praying? Like, the man didn't deserve to lose his life. But show me where there's a Malcolm X statue or Marcus Garvey statue, or y'all could just go down a list of other great prominent Black figures who don't have a statue. But George Floyd has multiple statues. And I'm supposed to think, and they're like, look, Black people, white people are not so racist because they gave us a statue of a criminal who died, right? Like, let's call it what it is. The dude didn't deserve to die. He also didn't deserve a statue. But we're over here praising that he got a statue, and that's all they got to do. Hey, look, Kamala Harris, first Black VP. She wasn't even claiming that she was Black. When she got to Congress, she said she was the first Asian Indian woman. Then she was like, oh, black people is their political intelligence is so low. And then she became black girl magic. So we gotta stop valuing the symbolism over substance. That's led us to the demise and disenfranchisement more so than anything.
Yeah, what do you think, Brother D?
I agree with Brother Be Easy, but just to add a little something to that, I honestly believe that a lot of things that we need to move in this country, we got to stop waiting on this 500-year situation. It's not going to happen. And our biggest problem is we cannot unite as people.
Why
we don't
not?
need everybody to unite with us. We just need enough.
Why can't we? Why can't we unite, brother?
Well, because the whole situation was to make sure that we were separated. They separated us before we even came over here. Men,
Right.
women, and children. And then we
Right.
got subdivided in different countries. We don't know our language. We don't know our culture anymore. But everybody else came over there. That's something that they still were able to have intact. They still had their culture, whether they were refugees or what have you.
Right.
We're coming over there incrementally. All of us didn't come over here the same way. But the bottom line is we were permanently disrupted. And to me, it looks like what they're doing now is making sure that we suffer the consequences for them not still getting rich off of our backs for free.
Right.
That's what I'm looking at. And everything that they do in corporate America. I'm a businessman. Corporate America, you see the same crap. And it looks like slavery to me.
Right.
But at the bottom line, what do we do? We've been saying this for decades.
Right.
Saying, what do we do? Well,
right.
Who is we? We are the people that are going to get off our ass and go do something.
Right.
While everybody else sit in the bleachers and talk about all this other stuff. And it's a lot of us that have assets, resources, and ability and accountability.
Okay.
And if you don't have those things intact, forget about it.
Yeah.
Talking about you have to be able to negotiate things. When I walk into a room to negotiate a business contract, you can trust and believe I have an agenda when I show up in there.
Right.
I already know what theirs is.
Right.
But I have a plan and I have the resources to execute that plan.
Right.
But it has to be mutual benefit of some sort.
Right.
It's always just, we want you to do this and do that. Quid pro quo.
Right.
Something for something.
Right.
And we keep running around talking about this stuff over and over again, but we're not bringing nothing to the table, not even an agenda, unified. Then we're always going to have this problem. We're going to have this problem 100 years, 200 years from now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think if we don't change the way we're viewing this situation, I think we're going to definitely have a problem for a long time. But I think, gentlemen, I think we've all agreed that Black people in particular look at the Democratic Party as a cult-ish type. It's a freakish type situation where they just roll with it no matter what. No matter, you know what I'm saying? The cult, if the cult was like a big boulder and it rolled and crushed their house, they would still, after it got done crushing their house, they would still run behind it and keep pushing it. You know what I mean? Keep pushing the boulder down the street to roll over somebody else's house. You know what I mean?
It's kind of like what churches you go to. You went to the churches your parents went to, right?
Exactly.
You didn't get an opportunity to decide what you wanted to do and how you wanted to do it. You went where your parents went, and you just went along with the program.
Right.
And so it becomes a cultural ridiculousness that we just keep doing the same thing and get no results.
Right.
We also
I was born Baptist. Am I a Baptist? No, I'm Islamic.
Right.
But the church is an arm of the cult. We have to. We can't. We'd be remiss to not mention that the church is an extra political arm of the church. Look at Jim Clyburn in South Carolina. All he did is do a fish fry, whip a bunch of black people together, pass out fish. No, these is facts. He has some epic fish fry. All he does is pass out fried fish.
Yeah,
I don't know. I might have voted for him too if the fish is good.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. From the videos, that fish was looking fire. Now, I'm not denying it probably was the best fish you was gonna ever have, you know. But my thing is, that's all they had to do. They had this massive fish fry. They have music, and like I was trying to say, the entertainment. You know, people out there shooting hoops. All the stuff that I'm talking about, right? Cover food, they cover music, they cover entertainment, and then they also say, make sure you vote Democrat. That's the whole point of it. And you know who else is the main of doing that? Churches. Look in the election. Even Michael Bloomberg, who was the author of Stop and Frisk, even he was getting some traction. He spent $500 million in the election he knew he wasn't going to win. What did he do to even garner just even a scintilla of the black vote? He went and poured it to the churches, right? Because people want to talk about they love God. Then why is the church so segregated, right? Why is there a black church? Why is there a white church? I thought we was all serving the same God, but that's a whole different story. So he goes to these predominant black churches, you know, like Creflo Dollar and TD Jakes, hands out millions. And then just coincidentally, everybody voted Democratic, right? They always talk about the Republican boogeyman. And how is that in the interest of betterment for blacks? We got to start calling these churches out for their destruction in the community. And there's a bunch of single mamas in there too. Where was the shame?
Brother, be easy. Are you saying that the black church kind of guides black people into voting in the way they vote as far as Democratic Party? Are you saying that they have something to do with that?
Absolutely. Follow the money. That's all you got to do. Follow the money. How could we say that blacks are at the bottom economically, but somehow BLM raves hundreds of millions of dollars? You think that's all black dollars? When these candidates run, nobody knows where this money goes afterwards. You see the headline of the hundreds of millions that they raise, but you don't know where it goes. Same thing with the churches. Creflo Dollar, he wanted a roller coaster at his church. Bro, you get like shuttles. When you go to his church, you get shuttles. I know TD Jakes, he got these called mega churches. They're getting 40,000 peoples on Sundays, but they're open 24/7. They have ATMs in the churches, right? So these are facts, which is all could just a simple Google search. You can look all this stuff up. So what I'm saying is, if it's a bunch of poor blacks going in there and we're the most disenfranchised group, where is all of this money coming from? So you got to think.
But brother, be easy. Let me stop you right there. Most of our people ain't going to those mega churches, man. Most of our people going to round the corner, up the street, Second Methodist Baptist, you know, hole in the wall church. They're not really. Most of our people are not attending those kind of churches because
not that kind of church, but the ideology is still permeating in that church. It's not necessarily the church, because realistically, if you want to get biblical, the church is not supposed to be a building. The church is supposed to be the people. Wherever the people is at, that's supposed to be where you hold church at. It's just this modern stuff that made it an institution. So it's not necessarily the physical location and building of the church. It's the ideology that permeates through the church. You even go to that local hole in the wall church. They're not having a balanced political discussion of this is what the Republicans offering. This is what it's just like, you got to vote Democrats because the Republicans is racist. It's just the same story, the same broken record.
That's it. Brother D, you good?
Yeah, I had to step out for a minute.
Okay, what you got to say, man? You got any input on what we're talking about, man, as far as how the churches kind of guide our people? They like do that Judas goat thing where they guide our people into kind of the thinking process. Like, well, you the one that brought it up. How they, your mama goes to the church, you go to the same church your mama went to, your daddy went to, and you vote the same way your mama voted. You vote the same way your daddy voted. I mean, typically, and some of us have cut away from that, but typically,
I think we have a different mindset, particularly with the younger folks today than we had when we were coming up. Because let's use this crazy situation, okay? Donald Trump called certain people that he handpicked to come to the White House, right?
Right.
Who did he pick? They were entertainers, right?
Right.
And they showed up because apparently we're, as Black people, influenced by entertainers and people at church, right?
Right.
So he handpicked who he decided that was going to show up, and he also got his handpicked preachers, right?
Right.
All of them said that they were going to speak about that when they came in. They knew they came up for a payday because that was the only reason why he showed up. And the reason why they showed up and the reason why he called them, so you keep the Negroes at bay.
Bingo.
That was the reason. And they got their paycheck. And today, how long ago was that? We haven't even heard nobody's commentary on what was said when they went in there.
Right.
And then what happened in January 6th? We got all these people come piling up there that don't look like the preachers, that don't like, but he put the dog whistle out, right?
Right.
Some folks got killed. They were in the building. They were sitting in offices.
Right.
And they really
the
not
police officer.
really talking about doing anything about it so much. But we didn't show up there like that. You know what I mean? They were invited as well. Before that even happened. Right. Did you see the Klansmen out there outside the fence?
No, I didn't.
And he invited them in. This is a couple of years ago before that even happened.
Oh, yeah. Now, I remember 6th. Definitely.
And
now,
he took photo shoots with them. Standing behind them.
Let me say this real quick, Brother D. Let me let you finish. I remember when they were trying to get him to denounce the Klan. They were trying to get him to say the Klan is a bad group and denounce the Klan. And he said he would not do it. He would not do it. The farthest he went was everybody has an opinion. Everybody has a right to their opinion. But he wouldn't denounce them or the violence or nothing. He wouldn't denounce that. So I remember that part. Okay, let me let you finish, brother.
I'm going to send you a photograph. I'm not going to do it on your podcast with Donald Trump with the Klansmen.
Okay, any of us surprised about that? None of us are surprised about that, right?
No.
Even white people that didn't like him, they're not surprised about that. But the thing about it is they said, hey, we don't care that you sitting with the Klan. Are you going to fix the bridge that we want fixed? Are you going to do this for us?
Are you going to lower my taxes?
Exactly. They have that agenda that you were talking about, Brother D. They got the agenda, and they knew. Even though, man, he had preachers backing him. Even when the whole grabbing women's private areas.
Hey, that's how he won. That's why he got Mike Pence to get that evangelical group. It was all just and it worked too.
Right? Because they know they're not worried about his personal life. They're only worried about what he's going to do for them.
And neither am I.
We got to get on that program.
And neither am I. But here's the problem. If we're never bringing anything to the table and everybody else is, why are we having expectations of all this other stuff and everybody else is doing what's required?
Well, let me tell you why,
and we
brother.
Are not.
Let me tell you why. I'm going to give you the quick version. Remember what I said, the Union Buster, Ronald Reagan, he took the political science, he took the budget that these schools were getting to teach political science out of the schools, out of public school system. So now you don't know. You're not being taught how politics actually works in America, man. You're not being taught that. So you don't know. You think your vote is going to make a difference alone, your vote. No, like you said, it's two-part. You got to have money in that pot. You got to put money in that pot, and then you got to have an industry that you can choke off. Like I said before, you know how the Mexicans got DACA. They walked out of all of the hotels. They walked out of the fast food. They shut the fast food industry down. They shut the hotel industry down, and it was 1 million of them walking down the street, down here on Broadway, down here in downtown LA. How you gonna tell them you're not gonna do something when they can do that? Oh, go ahead, brother.
I'm always gonna come back to the same thing that I'm coming back to right now. Okay, so we done lost a whole bunch of generations because of lack of knowledge, right?
Correct.
But ultimately, who's responsible for the knowledge of our children? Why are we leaving it up to someone else to teach our children our heritage? I don't care how many times I can say that. It's our ultimate responsibility to do that.
I agree.
Whatever means we got to do, we need to teach our own children and stop expecting somebody else to teach our children what our children need to know. Because the first teacher is the mother, right?
Right.
And it all starts in the home. Why are we looking for somebody outside the house to guide and teach us? This is the reason why this can go on for 500 years and has. Because other people are teaching us and putting information in our heads that we're being misguided.
Hold that thought, Brother D. I'm gonna let you finish. But I'm gonna tell you why. Our people think for some reason they have some type of we have some PTSD in our heads where we think white people are somehow getting some type of superior knowledge that if we don't go to school with them, we're going to be left out of that knowledge. That's what we think. We're so far, and so because why in the world would you get sick by dogs have bricks thrown at you so you can sit at a lunch counter with white people and you put your own black businesses out of business, your own black supermarkets out of business, your own black bus companies out of business, your own black taxi cabs out of business. You put all those people out of business so you can go sit at the lunch counter with white folks. Why? Does a tea taste better? There? No. We found out when you actually got in there.
In their mind, it does.
That's what I'm saying.
The blacks are the biggest promoters and perpetuators of white supremacy. Have you ever heard no one can make you feel inferior without your consent? In order for them to be supreme, you have to consent to that. And this is another thing too. People have believed in that fallacy. It's not like when y'all brothers grew up or when your pops grew up. You can get fired from one factory, go across the street and get another factory job, earning probably about what they earning now. And a lot of these men did not have their education didn't go past high school, but we've been indoctrinated to where you got to get a good job. In order to get a good job, you got to go into massive student loan debt in order to get it. And then people be getting these meaningless degrees. People got a master's in African American studies. Come on, bro. We don't never go into STEM. Most of the women's jobs are healthcare and government jobs, and now men are too soft. They're not getting their hands dirty. I present to you the supply and demand, the supply chain thing. Not enough people working at the ports. Not enough people willing to do trucks. And then we just literally just let the Hispanics come over and take over anything that has to do with hands. How many black landscaping crews do you see? Black construction crews. Y'all, you don't need to go to school for that. You could go to a trade school for plumbing. You can go to a trade school for be an electrician, welders. They be making bank, but they're blue collar jobs. So people don't want to get their hands dirty. My boys that got trucking companies is making bank, making more than some people that's lawyers. But then you go and they don't have no debt. But you want to go in debt, like you said, Brother Clarence, just to be around to get white acceptance, but then claim and say that they don't like you. If you knew that they don't like you, why are you trying to go to their institution when that's not the only way that you can get a bag? How many black mechanics is you seeing? Black mechanic shop. Black people one thing they love to do is eat, but they also love to cook. How many black shops are you seeing? And then, you know who Kwame Brown is?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, he said he had a shop in Atlanta, And he said it was nice, it was clean. And he put it right in the hood because he knew it was a predominant black area. He said they was going to every restaurant but his, Chinese. And hold on. He said he sent his minions out to get a little pulse of the hood. And basically what people said was, well, Kwame already rich. He don't need my little money. So you gonna go give it to the Asian Chinese restaurant next door? You gonna go give it to the Afghan at 7-Eleven? That's even when we don't got enough. Like you right, brother D. That mentality is always so selfish and individualistic. We ain't gonna progress like that.
Brother, be easy. You had to bring that up, man. You had to bring that up. Now you brought that into the conversation, man.
Let me just speak on what he's saying. When you and I, brother C, was coming up, it was all about get your education, get a degree so you can get a good job to work for who? Not you. Yeah. For the other man, right?
Yeah.
When I grew up, my whole family is business owners. I own a whole bunch of businesses. Everybody in my family is business owners, right?
Right.
Does it mean I haven't worked for anybody? Yeah, I worked at the corporate level, at lower levels, what have you. But is that a speed bump, or is that's all it is? At the end of the day, I need to control my own commerce. I need to be the owner of that business. I need to be able to control my own commerce and not leave it up to the other guy.
Right.
That's what we're not doing because that's not what's promoted. Our parents don't even tell us that. They say, get a good education, go to college, get a degree, get stuck in school.
Yeah, I was never told
you're never going to be paid. You were never told that?
No, I was told, go to school, get a good. I was not told any like entrepreneurial type stuff.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I wasn't even told about no credit score, anything like that. Actually, a lot of people that I know, we were taught to like disregard credit, like get credit and then run it up. Right, that's what people. That's I swear. Yeah. Now
that sounds like black people right there.
I was gonna say it sounds ignorant, it sounds delusional and backwards, but I'm trying to let y'all know this is the type of ideology and sentiments that permeates in the hood. My brother, he had got like his first 5,000 credit card, and he just started getting stuff that he knew he couldn't afford, and then it was like man, it's credit, Then he as he got older, he started trying to apply for stuff, and they was like, nah, your credit score. One thing though he did, it took him years though, because depending on the debt, I think after 7 years, it will drop off. But some of these credit companies is slick; they just sell your debt, and then that's how they're able to just keep it going and going and going. But there are some things where after 7 years, after they charged it off or wrote it off, it's supposed to drop off. But no one ever taught me this type of stuff. I had to find out on my own after my credit was already jacked up.
Yeah, man. Join the club, brother. Yeah. Yes, sir.
He asked me to, I don't know if you saw the business credit, and that was kind of a short segment. But he asked me to do another segment talking about credit.
Right.
And I was a banker.
Please.
And I haven't set that up yet, but it won't take me long to do so. And I did something the other day about, what to do if you get pulled over by police, stuff like that. Credit is very, very, very important. And a lot of us are not taught about banking, finance, insurance. I was an insurance broker as well. So anything dealing with banking and finance, chances are I had my hands in it.
Okay, so hold on. Let me say this, and let me let you get back to what you were saying, Brother D. The Union Buster Ronald Reagan also got rid of the budgets for home economics. That's where we were learning about banking and balancing checkbooks. And you remember, Brother D, you make those Doritos with the cheese on them, and you put them in the oven, and you take them out, right? And then they taught you how to cook. They taught you how to iron. They taught you how to iron your clothes. They taught you how to budget. Brother, be easy. You don't know none of this, man, because you're way too young. But they had this stuff actually in school. And
I did hear, weren't they teaching like mechanics, and they were teaching the trade
Yeah, they had
schools
you
in
could
actual
actually go
school.
to auto mechanic school in high school. You could
Yes.
get certified as an auto mechanic in high school, as a plumber in high school. When you walk out of high school, and you could actually go and journeyman with a plumber or electrician or whatever trade they offered there. Ronald Reagan killed all that. Ronald Reagan killed all that. And I went into that a bunch of different times. I'm sorry.
Guess
Brother.
what else, brother? My brother just retired from IBM, right? He's a computer programmer also. I'm a computer programmer and a network engineer.
Okay.
But around the time I went into computer programming, back in the day, if you wanted a job doing that, the job would send you to school and pay for that. Today, they want you to come in here with all those degrees, all those certifications out of your pocket.
Right.
And then they're going to tell you how many years of experience you had before they even looking at your application.
Yeah.
My brother went through the period of time where they actually paid for all that stuff. Okay. The job that you were working with, you were already working there. And they're sending you to school to get all your certifications, all this other stuff. I didn't go through that period.
Wow.
I went through that. I had to come out of my pocket.
Right.
If I wanted to get an education. So I had a lot of scholarships as well.
Okay.
But that's beside the point. Basically, if you want a job today, they want you to show up in the door with your certifications, with your degrees. They're not sending you to school for nothing. Nothing.
Right. Yeah, most of them. And then if they send you to school, most places
for that company.
You got to sign. Yeah, you got to stay for 5 years or 3 years, whatever it is, the term that they make sure you got to go. Because why? I'm not going to send you to school, get you all trained up, and then you go work for Microsoft and go over there and make money, right? So they want you to sign where you're going to stay there for a couple of years, so they at least try to get a little bit of that investment back, right? Our people, we got to get our people on the, like you said, on the entrepreneurial level where they thinking in the entrepreneurial way, where they say, okay, that's the only way that you're going to have your vote actually matter, even if it's for the Republican or the Democrat. If you don't have industries that you can choke off, where we have our own industry, and really, we as Black people, we're in a unique position. I told y'all, 92%, we're the only one that spends almost all of our net income. We consume it, or most of our net income. Other people, they maybe only spend maybe up to about maybe 60% of their net income, right, on bills and other little stuff like that. But we spend up to 92%, we Black people, because why? I see Brother D got a new Cadillac. I'm gonna go get me another Cadillac, even though I can't afford that Cadillac. I'm gonna go get me go get a Cadillac or whatever. He putting a pool in his house. I'm gonna put a pool in my house because I don't want my woman talking to me crazy because she see his pool getting put in, right? So we have in a unique position. We can actually stop consuming. That was a great idea you had, Brother D, about this. If Black people just went for 3 weeks, we said we're not spending a dime in this economy for 3 weeks. Bro, these people will be jumping out of their office buildings because they just would be losing so much money, especially this time of year. They lose so much money. How do we get our people on that program? How do we educate our people? How do we tell them, hey, you control this thing? You may not have an industry, but you control the consumption. How do we get them?
I've been in business for 37 years, okay? It'll be 38 years in the next couple of months, okay? Self-employed, own a whole bunch of businesses. Okay, that's great. Everybody's not a business owner. Everybody's not an entrepreneur. Skilled trades is what we need to be, not lacking on as well. We're always going to need plumbers. We're always going to need electricians. But that can turn into your own company as well. Most of these companies, heating and air conditioning, that's a year course.
Dirty jobs. That's what I'm talking about. We got two.
I got dirty fingernails right now, brother.
Bro, that's what it comes down to. People have become too soft. They don't want. Think about it. You a mechanic, you're gonna be dirty all the time, but you're gonna make bank, and then it's like instead of hearing that you're gonna make bank, people hear, oh, I'm gonna be dirty all the time. Welding, you're gonna have to get messy, bro. You're gonna have to, it's gonna physical labor, plumbing, that's dirty. Being a garbage man, all of these pay handsomely well, 6 figures. Tow truck, you don't need to go to school to be a tow truck driver. You can go to school for trucking. You're driving all the time anyway. We are not just consumers, brother Clarence. We are hyper consumers. They say the black dollar, it's in the hood, bro, for like 6 seconds. Because as soon as you get your check, you run to the Chinese liquor store, then you go to the Afghani 7-Eleven, then you go to the Mexican restaurant, and now your check is gone, and you already paid your white landlord. And then the extra that you got, you screaming white supremacy and Black Lives Matter while you going to the Gucci store.
Right.
Here's my biggest problem with you, brother. Be easy. My biggest problem with you is you're a unicorn. There's not a whole lot of you around at your age level, and all us old niggas ain't still on the same. See, we still got our scruples, me and brother Clarence, and we still trying to preach about the knowledge. But what's important is we got to make sure our younger folks think the way you think, because most of them don't.
Right.
They don't talk the way you talk. They don't think the way you think. They're not interested in knowledge, education of any sort. They'd rather be out on them streets doing whatever and getting the bread the wrong way.
And bro, I was out there doing exactly what you said, but then I had to reflect and say, look, all of my peoples that's around me doing the same stuff that I'm doing. Bro, my pops was murdered, bro, in front of my mom on April Fool's Day when he was 47.
My brother.
You know what I'm trying to say? Thanks you, bro. I appreciate that. And he was just my step pops, my biological pops. I've only seen him a couple times. I got multiple cousins, bro, doing either life or extended time in prison, multiple bodies, bro. How am I going to promote and say I want to build a community when I'm looking at my community crumbling? And then I'm not going to call out the things that's contributing to his degradation. You know what I'm trying to say? And a lot of these people, like, I agree with you, Brother D, because it's a lot of the cast that's around my age or younger. When they hear y'all, it's like, oh, bro, y'all, man, we don't want to listen to no old niggas, man. Y'all don't know what y'all talking. Yeah, man, y'all time came and passed. Then if I'm talking the way I'm talking, it's like, oh, bro, what happened to you, man? You a square, bro. You switched up.
They gonna call you a square. You a goof.
Yeah, I'm a square. And then if I speak with eloquence, I'm talking white. Like, hold on, because I actually read books and understand the English, and I give words that's bigger than just Ebonics. I'm talking white. How was that not white supremacy, right? You telling a brother that he talk white because he speaks with articulation. You know what I'm saying? It don't be white people telling me I'm talking white.
Do you understand they was telling us that when we was growing up?
Wait, fellas. I'm glad Brother Be Easy brought that up. Let us attack that right now. Brother Be Easy, why would they call you? Why would they say, because you speak clearly, we can understand every word you're saying, you're not spitting all over me. Why would they say that you're talking white? Why would black people do that?
From the responses that I've gotten, some of them say, oh, bro, why you using big words or something? So they think that you're trying to, come off as better than them, or that you be a know-it-all, right? So and some people
wait, brother Easy, you're going too fast. Hold on, there's black people here. We got to go slow, man. We got to spoon feed them. Okay, why would they think you think you're better than them just by the way you're speaking? Why would there be something wrong, a complex that they have, or is there something wrong with you? What would make them think that? Typically speaking, the inferiority complex and the victimhood mindset. And then not to mention, especially our boys reading at a 4th grade reading level. So if you can't read and you genuinely can't comprehend and understand people, what do?
shame and ridicule. Oh, bro, you a square. Oh, like, oh no, you just can't understand me. But see, peep this. If I use a word that's part of the English vernacular and you say that's a big word, these people they don't try to look it up. But if I use a slang word that's commonly used in the streets, they want to go look it up and know. So they want to know all of the hippest slang so they can be down and you know and woke in the hood. But then if I use something that you can actually take, see, my thing is if I heard y'all use a word that I didn't, I would look it up so I could add it to my vocabulary.
Thank you.
But we don't strive for knowledge like that. We strive for entertainment and frivolous stuff, right? To talk about the newest versus battle or the newest song, they gonna go look that up. But if you talk about the newest tax code or just a word in general, say, hey, what's a word that you learned or what's a book that you read recently? They were like, I don't read books. I don't know any other words. All you know is just the slang, nigga this, nigga that.
Right.
But are you ever going to evolve from that? But see, this is the thing. This all that they know, right? But they don't want someone to be looked at. You acting like a dumb nigga, but you don't want to be looked at as one. Make that make sense for me.
Well, I mean, I was probably the weirdest dude because I used to actually sit there, like we're having a conversation right now. If I heard a word I didn't understand, I'd be like, and next thing you know, I'm in a dictionary trying to figure out what the hell that means. And then I'd be trying to formulate sentences so I can speak articulately. This is how, you know, my mother was a teacher, so she wouldn't let me come in and out of the house knucklehead. But I already had that in me anyway. You know what I'm saying? So nobody taught me how to be a business owner and none of that stuff, even though my family members own businesses. But a lot of people are not mentally where you are. And I know Brother Clarence be asking this question all the time. So how do we get them there? How do we get them to become educated business owners or educated workers or what have you? You can probably answer that better than I can. I know how I would deal with it because I'm a teacher and an educator.
Well, let me say this, brother, because I want to deal with the whole inferiority complex because I believe that holds us back on a lot of different issues. Now, and we're dealing with this because people gonna watch this on the replay, and they're gonna be like, glad we hit this. So, a lot of our brothers, and you made this point very clear, Brother Be Easy. A lot of our brothers, well, you did too, Brother D, in school, they're afraid that they're going to get ridiculed for being able to have a knowledge in their head and being able to express themselves. They feel like they're going to get ridiculed. So what they'll do is they'll hide their intelligence. They don't want the other people to feel, they don't want the pressure of the other people to come upon them, the jealousy and envy to come upon them. And so to keep away from that, they'll hide their intelligence. Then they'll get to a certain point where they feel like their intelligence is an encumbrance. So they say, well, I'm going to just leave it alone. Let me get in these streets because the girls respect me in these streets more than they respect me in these books. The dudes in the books don't get no girls. The dudes in the streets get the girls. So how do we get our people, or is there something we can say or refute to our people, especially when they're younger, to get them to see, I'm not talking white. I taught him. How you going to tell me I'm talking white when I taught him language? I taught you language. How you talking like me, right? I'm not talking like you. I'm the one that taught you how to communicate through language. You were saying, you know why they go like this? You know why people shake their head? Yes and no. Because Moses, when he was trying to teach them, he couldn't talk to them. He couldn't communicate with them. So he said, okay, if you understand what I'm saying, put your head up and down like this. If you don't understand, shake it like this. That's where that comes from. But our people, we don't know our history. We don't know none of this stuff. We don't know none of this stuff, right? And the point is, we will subjugate our people. This is a critical issue. We'll subjugate those. We got young people that's brilliant, brilliant. And the parents will tell the parent will tell that, will put a pin in their head and say, "You think you smart, huh?" Because they'll say a smart word or something. They'll say a big word. So the parent will put a pin in their head and say, "You think you so smart? Don't be using words like that around here." And the parent will kill that. What do y'all got to say about that?
I can tell you from my background, but I can let Brother Be Easy talk about what the current status is.
Oh yeah, no, I mean I totally agree with what you're saying, man. I even had like even a woman where she was saying that the words and the way that you speak to me is, she said, I can't understand you. So you know what I'm saying? Like I don't think we
Brother
will
Be Easy. Brother
work
Be
together.
Easy. Was this somebody you were dating, or just a sister on the street?
No, this was someone that I was dating.
Oh
And,
wow.
and mind you, you know what I'm saying? We had sexual encounters and all that
Wow.
stuff. So,
Yeah.
so she was okay in that regard. But when
Right.
it comes to, you know, you talking about serious stuff. Where's this going? Okay, your future, your plans. And she said that, oh, you use words that I can't understand. So I don't think that there's any compatibility
Ain't gonna
there.
work
So
out.
yeah, I was just thinking like what did you want someone that's you know, like at least at a higher level. I never considered myself at a higher level sophisticated, although I
Right.
was, but I mean, I never,
Right.
you know, you don't give off the energy. It's just like a conversation that we having now. Like, I don't know y'all educational background, but I could tell that you guys are educated and enlightened brothers. That's
Right.
all that matters, right?
Same here,
But
bro.
like you were saying, Brother Clarence, sometimes people because there is an element of that, right? Because all the chicks want the bad boys, and you know what happened to the geeks in school? They was getting
Right.
bullied, like, oh, look at
Right.
this nerd, but the geeks is winning now. The geeks is
Right.
hiring these. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Your thug felony boyfriend, he finna hope that the geek hire him. Right?
Right.
You know what I'm trying to say? So, but
Right.
if you're a young guy coming up, and this is what we have a problem too much, we want to be the cool kid versus being the smart kid, right? We always want to be cool, flashy, and look like, man, I got the girl and all this stuff. Yeah, you got the girl, and you knocked up the wrong girl because you was too reckless to be wearing protection, and now you can't afford it. Right? You should have been focused on being the smart kid, but like the cool kid is typically the reckless kid, the kid getting in trouble. The smart kid is on a straight and narrow. That's who
Right.
builds community. The smart kids, and people associate smart with being square and lame. We got to get out of that. When you hear
Right.
Malcolm X, he seems smart. Nothing about him gave off square. Nothing about him gave off lame. But we have this negative connotation with smarts and wisdom.
Right.
But then when it comes to like buffoonery, that's
Right.
what we champion.
Right.
Can I ask you a question, Brother Bees? And I don't even know if I can ask it in a proper fashion. When I was coming up, I grew up with a lot of dudes that they were murderers, they were bank robbers, they were burglars, pimps. I grew up with a lot of chicks like that, but I was a smart kid. I excelled in science, mathematics, arithmetic, the whole nine. I went to college when I was 13 years old. You know what I'm saying? All of that stuff that you're speaking of, we went through. If you was a smart person, you got ridiculed for being smart. Oh, you speaking them big words.
Yeah.
You talking this, you talking that.
Yeah.
But guess what? Where are those guys now?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
In the ground or in the clink. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't mean I didn't hang with them. Didn't mean we didn't run some ball together and do whatever in the hood. But some people went in one direction, others in another. So at the end of the day, you got to figure out what the outcome you're looking for when you do what you do, and you got to act like whatever it's not here today. That's not the outcome I'm looking for. I'm looking for here today, tomorrow, and the future. because I want to have a future with someone else. I want to have a family. I want to have this, that, and the third. So everything you do today will affect tomorrow, the next day, and therefore. So you can be the same knucklehead, because I know a lot of guys, if I go back to Philadelphia, where I come from, they still on that same damn corner, doing the same stuff 40 years later. Who's the dummy? Me for moving on?
Yeah.
Now, I understand bringing back to your community and coming back to your neighborhood, which I think everybody should do. But a lot of people won't do that. They trying to get out of the neighborhood and get lost. I don't believe that's the thing to do. But a lot of the people that you grew up with, when you start excelling, they feel like you're supposed to bring them up. And then you want to stick around and live in the neighborhood. They think you're being a certain kind of person. And they're going to relieve you of what you work for. Whether it's your goods, your house, or your health. So what is your thought pattern about that today? I'm talking about what was back in the day. Maybe it's a little different now.
Yeah, no, I agree what you're saying. I like how you laid that out. What I took from what you said, the first point I want to touch on is that we live in a microwave society, bro. So everybody wants things instantly. And you only think about how quick it gets done, and then I'm eating it right now. But you don't understand the effects of what you eating and consuming of what it's gonna have. See,
It's
when
not good for
people
you.
talk about diet, yeah, they only think about the food,
How
which
to
we
live.
eat the junkiest food, right? But your diet is not only your food, it's all of the other stuff you're consuming, the elements of your environment, all the indoctrination, the democratic indoctrination that you listening to, that's part of your diet as well. But what we do, since unfortunately, as a community, we're too selfish and individualistic, we only think about what's going to happen today and tomorrow. Right?
Mhm.
We're not thinking about a year from now. We're not thinking about
Right.
5 years from now. How
Right.
many people say they love their kids, but they're not doing anything to set their kids up for their future? We need to start
Right.
calling that what it is. You know what that is? It's called child abuse. That's what it is. See, we only think of child abuse as, oh, getting a kid getting a
Wow.
spanking. You're not teaching your kid. How is you expecting a white racist to teach your kid about racism? That's you. That's child abuse on your part, right? You're not teaching your kid about credit and stocks and stuff
Wow.
like that. That's child abuse. We need to
Wow.
reframe it. You're worried if your kid
Wow.
has the newest shoes, the newest apps, but they don't have a book and sight in their room. Why do they even have a TV in
Right.
there? That's child abuse. We need to frame it for what it
Wow.
is, because you're setting up your kid to be a permanent underclassman. And then I hear some of these
Wow.
people, mainly from Black women, saying, oh, look at all the businesses we started. Most of those businesses have 1 to 2 employees, under 15 total. Why are you not hiring your Black boys that you're raising, right? To your point earlier, Brother Clarence, we don't have any type of infrastructure to where they have to come to us for. They don't like the Hispanics, but they got to come to them for construction.
Exactly.
They got to come
Exactly.
to us for landscaping. What do they have to come to us for?
Exactly.
Even if they
Exactly.
wanted to. Let's say they like, look, we want to give all this Black money. Do y'all got any mechanic shops? Do you got
Yeah.
any restaurant? Do you got any nail shops? It'll be nope, 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 nope.
Yeah.
So who is that money gonna go to? Somebody else. So we complaining and saying they ain't not giving us money. They don't have an agenda for us. Did you try to build an agenda? And let's be honest, unfortunately, it pains me to say this. I don't even truly think that we have a Black community right now. What we have is a Black
We got
population.
hoods.
Yeah.
We have a Black population, a population of Black people, but it's not a community, because when you look at the definition of community, they typically have hospitals, grocery stores, togetherness, unity,
Yeah.
and actually an actual agenda, some sort of
Right.
mantra for the community.
Right.
Ask 10 Black people what the identity of it is, you gonna hear 30 different answers. The way the media promotes it, you think the Black agenda is trans. That's
Yeah.
all I hear. I hear
Yeah.
more about Black trans than any issue that we're facing as Black people.
Yeah. Man, hey, brother, be easy. Hold that thought, because I want you to explain that a little more. Brother D, you got something to say about that?
I wanted to talk about something he mentioned earlier, and something that he just mentioned because I grew up in a situation where we had black businesses in the neighborhood,
Okay.
right? We had black businesses. We had the dry cleaners. We had the corner store. We had this. We had that. But there were other people that had businesses as well. And you know, black people will walk right past your damn business and
Right.
go to the white man's store.
Right. Why? Why, Brother D? Why?
Well, because like he said earlier, the water's colder over there than it is at your place. The ice is colder because it got a white face attached to it. You know what I mean? But in reality, we have this dichotomy amongst ourselves as a community, or lack thereof, that if we patronize your business, then that means you might get ahead of me.
Yes.
And I don't want you to do that.
Yes.
I'm gonna do everything to bastardize your business.
Yes.
I'm gonna do everything to avoid your business, and I'd rather give my money to someone else, like we do
Yes.
trillions of dollars every year. We don't
Yes.
come to black businesses. Not that there ain't black businesses out here.
Yes.
They walk past yours and go to the Korean.
You know, I
I
heard a very prominent preacher say that. I'm not going to say his name. A very prominent preacher said that. He said that I'm not going to make, I ain't going to make no end rich. I heard a prominent preacher say that. Yes. I'm sorry, Brother D. Go ahead. Please continue.
But we talk about these beauty salons that are sucking black women's purses dry. We have a lot of black women that own beauty supply stores, and their biggest complaint is they walk past my store and go into the Korean place next door.
Well, Korean prices are cheaper. Koreans going to charge a lot.
Are they, or are they not? Or are they purposely not going to your store because they feel like you might benefit from them spending their money over there?
That's the, remember RoboCop? That's Directive 4 back there. That's the classified directive. They, remember RoboCop? He could see all the other he could see Directive 1 through 3. He could actually pull that up and see, oh, don't do this, do this, do this. But Directive number 4 was classified. It was back there. He could act on it, but he couldn't see what it was, right? That's us. We don't even, it's so subconscious and so deep in the subconscious to not let no nigga pass me that I would rather go to the Korean, make the Korean rich than to let this Negro pass me.
Crabs in the bucket.
Let it happen, right? But at the same time, the Koreans have especially in the beauty market, they have a stranglehold.
They're 80% owners.
Trying to compete with them, they can just drop the prices because they're all together. That's an industry where I know they say, well, you're not supposed to do things just because somebody is your same culture or your same race. But that's one industry that they don't say nothing about that. The Koreans have it from top to bottom. They only buy from each other. Okay, I'm sorry, Brother D. Go ahead.
I have another statement that might be a little strange as well. So I already mentioned that I've always been in real estate and the finance business, right?
Right.
So I've been an insurance agent. I've been a real estate broker. I've been a residential mortgage broker, a residential lender, residential broker, commercial broker, which I do now, a lender. I just go on and on and on. Guess who most of my clients are, though?
Who?
Who do you think most of my clients are? I do business loans. I do commercial real estate loans. I sell shopping malls and skyscrapers.
Oh, got to be white people, right?
You think they're all white
or Asian?
Oh, or Asian. Either
or
one.
Arab.
Or either one of those three.
Don't look like us.
Yeah.
So why is that? Does that mean as a business owner, I'm avoiding black people as clients? They just not buying $100 million properties.
Right. Because they don't know
how. Trying to get $360 million loans because they don't have what I need them to have so I can get them a loan.
Right. But Brother D, nobody see, it's just like Brother B Easy was saying. Nobody teach, man, you know, when you a black person, you coming out of high school, they ain't teaching you, okay, now you keep your credit together, you get your guts together, you can get these $300 in loan, and then when you have an idea for a real business, you can get this $300 million loan. There ain't nobody teaching us that stuff, man.
Can I teach that class, brother? Because you already asked me, and I will.
Yeah.
Man, you gotta
Yeah,
teach
man.
that class, bro.
What you waiting on?
Yeah,
I'll
you gotta
you.
teach it
Tell
because
me
I
when and
know,
where, and I'll teach it.
man, whatever help you need, I will, because I'm seeing a lot of them where I know, especially in our community, it feels with like if you don't go to school, you're not doing nothing with your life, right? So they go to school and then get it. That's what they think, and then they go to school and get in debt, and then you get the average person, just the average, walks out with 40K in debt.
Okay,
So
okay, brother be easy, because I keep telling him to do this, and he just need to find some time to do it. So let me ask you, if you was graduating high school this year, do you think it would benefit you if there was a class that you could go straight into after you graduate in high school? You could go straight into this class. It would teach you how about financing. It would teach you about entrepreneurship. It would teach you about budgeting. It would teach you about homemaking. It would teach you about almost everything you needed to know to conduct yourself financially. And then you can link up with other brothers, and then we can start building some of these industries. Because if you can get $1 million loan, and I can get $1 million loan, and Brother D can get $1 million loans, and we want to start a business, that's $3 million we got. We can actually do something. Do you think that will benefit you, brother? I mean, anybody, any young guy going into graduating high school.
I mean, I know that it would immensely benefit me or anyone, and I think there are plenty of people that come from impoverished backgrounds that they want something like that, but since the availability of that is not readily available, they go to what is readily available, which is a life of crime that pays you
There
instantly,
you go,
right?
man. There you
That
go.
pays you instantly, and no, and that's all people are saying. Look, my bill is here today, so I can take this risk and pay off my bill today. Versus you saying like, look, here's something where this will pay your bills for a substantial amount of time, and you don't have to take this risk, right?
Right.
There's a lot of dudes where they're like, I don't know how to read, but I do know how to sell this, or I do know how to post on the block. So just as well as these universities indoctrinate, the hood indoctrinates you too, right?
Right.
Like, man, you can't read, you dropped out of school, all you can do is rob people. All you can, people think like, well, man, I can't even read a book, but I do know how to pull a gun. Now, is that a foolish way of thinking? Absolutely. But if they have other viable options to show you, like, look, bro, a lot of these gangbangers coming up, they have kids, right? They have family members. Do you want your daughter getting killed and gunned down in the drive-by? Do you want your mama, And then when you hit them where it hurts there, and then you present them with the other option, an alternate option. See, a lot of times people go to these kids and just preach, drugs are bad, crime is bad. They already know it's bad. They're not doing it because they think it's good. They're doing it for a means of survival. What other options are you offering them? And that's what we don't have enough of. Enough rec centers, enough places where they can go in and read a book. Like when you come in here, a lot of these kids is athletic, right? Have a place where they could channel that discipline, right? Because sports teaches them discipline. Even and we need to prepare them and let y'all know that not all of y'all is going to the NFL, right? Maybe 5% of y'all's going, but that doesn't mean that them having a level of discipline is not going to help them, and they stand in shape. That is more pros to it than anything. And then if a kid is out there practicing his jump shot and running laps for the football, you know what he's not doing? He's not selling nothing. He's not out there killing nobody. And then hey, have these kids come in here and play some instruments. This is another thing too. Black people started rock and roll, and then we just let white people take it over. It's a bunch of kids in the hood, bro, that could play instruments, saxophones, piano. They had no place to play it.
We didn't let them take it. They took it, brother. They
Right.
took it by any means. They took it. They strong on it.
Well, the reason why I say we let them take it is because we just concede to the fact that that's white people's music. So now if you're a black artist and you try to come out as rock, you don't get the same, you know, like you don't get the same support. Once you're black, they expect you to be a rapper. A black man, they expect you to be a rapper or R&B singer. Like they just don't expect you to be a rock. But if you white, you can be whatever. You can do country, you can do rock. Same thing with political. If you white, you can be Republican, Libertarian, Green Party. But see, it's only blacks. They try to put us in a box. Politically, we supposed to be Democrats, right? Black men, you're supposed to be rappers or basketball. What if I want to play lacrosse? Right? What if I want to play tennis? They trying to put me in a box, and we just allow ourselves to be put in a box, right? You mean to tell me nobody since Jimi Hendrix could play the guitar, right? I mean, I know there's been others since that, but that's the pinnacle that everyone goes to, and that's all I'm trying to say. Let
me throw this out there because I'm a musician myself. There is a man named James Jamerson. Look that dude up, man. If you know anything about Motown, look up James Jamerson.
Yes,
talk about a talented guitar player. Okay, brother Beezy, I'm sorry, man. Y'all got
bro.
Get me excited.
I don't even know who that is, so I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna have to look that up. So thanks for
dropping
enjoy
that ride, brother Beezy. You're gonna enjoy that.
My whole family is entertainers. Whitney Houston, half of my homeboys. You might have heard of Teddy Pendergrass, Patti LaBelle. I mean, these people I know. Yeah. They're not entertainers. But I have a really strange question. It's kind of open-ended question.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Maybe you guys can answer this. I'm going to talk about two different organizations. And I know people in each one of those. I just want to know the familiarity. Have you ever heard of BMF?
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of JBM?
Yeah.
JBM. I don't think so.
And both of those organizations are quite similar, right? I know people that are in both organizations. Even though they know I'm 5'0", they became millionaires. But what did they do? They bought businesses.
Right.
They did a lot of stuff in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? They didn't stick there. They may have started with some crazy background, but a lot of them still didn't do that, and some of them just stayed where they were. So, are you a bad guy if you stay in that situation and don't build up your neighborhood, or are you a good guy because you got out of it and started building up your neighborhood and start getting some actual businesses with the millions of dollars that you made when you were riding dirty? You a good guy or a bad guy?
You're a human being. That's what it is. It's like we need to stop trying to, because how could somebody be the judge of what's good and what's bad? You need a jury and, you know, actual arbitration, because that's what people try to say. This is good, right? And then we point to the BMF and say that they were killers and thugs and this was bad. What do you think the Italians done? What do you think the Irish done? Right? Their communities was built on the backs of their gangsters. They gangsters laid down and paved for them to do that. And then they were given the police union for Irish, fire departments for the Italians. Yeah. So it's like that was their rise and empire was paved through blood, sweat, and
but theirs is celebrated and ours is bastardized.
Exactly. That's the only difference. And then we contribute to the bastardizing of it. But then also there's another difference too. They were about community and structure in mind, but we're about individualistic, right? So we did the same thing, and then we start drifting down the individualist path. Right. They did the same thing, and they said at the end of the day, we're still Italians. But we don't say at the end of the day we're still blacks. We don't say that. We just say at the end of the day I'm me and I got to get mine.
Right.
Well, let me explain Let me explain. You made a good point, Brother Be Easy. So let me just throw this out there, and I'm gonna let you finish. The reason why we as Black people are more tend to go more toward the individuality instead of the group economics or group movement is because of the viciousness that we have had to endure whenever we tried to do something in a group setting. We have had to endure some of the most vicious attacks on us. So we have been intimidated into this individualistic mentality. We were intimidated into it. Now it's so ingrained in us now. You ain't even got to intimidate us to do it anymore. I forgot the guy that said, he said, Black people, if you sit them in the back of the bus long enough, they won't even try to sit in the front no more. They'll just go straight back there. Like you see, right? If you get on mass transportation, most Black people, they'll go straight to the back.
Facts. It ain't no Black person sitting in the front.
Hey, yeah, but I wanted to put that out there, Brother Be Easy, because you made a good point, and I wanted to address it. So please continue what you were saying, man. I'm sorry I interrupt you, but please continue what you were saying. That's you, Brother Be Easy.
Oh no, I agree with you. No, I agree with you. And like you said, you was just expounding on the point that I was making, and I do agree. It just comes to a point where it's just we have to wake up, and the people that do know better,
right,
got to speak up. See the difference with those other communities too, where if it's the best of the other communities, they're going to be in their community, right? That's why I said it's hard to say that we have a community. Like if it's a prominent Jewish doctor, is he finna go live with the Blacks, or is he gonna live with some Jews, right? Exactly. So it's saying, but our prominent Blacks, they like, I ain't trying to live around no Blacks, and we go live around whites while at the same time screaming about white supremacy. So you can't like, I can't be in the house with Brother D, move out the house and then tell him, hey, I think you need to fix this up and board this. It's like, nigga, you ain't here, bro. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, you know what I'm trying to say? So the ones that are successful and then they move out the hood and try to wag your fingers like, this is not what you need to do. Like, bro, you got the money to actually make a change. You have the influence to make a change. Now, I'm not saying that you're obligated, but then at the same time, if you don't feel obligated, stop talking about community. Just say that I'm doing for me. That's what people try to do. They try to waffle and say, I'm all for community. But then you moved to the furthest suburbs and you never go, right? You don't want, then you don't want your kids growing up in the public school that you went to, so you send them to a private school. Right. What are those racial demographics going to look like? And then people talking about, oh, promote Black love, and then you send your son to a private school where it's basically all white girls there, right? He's going to like who he like because of proximity. Now you want to try to call him a sellout and that he hate himself. Like, we got to stop doing that. Yeah, because we move our Black sons and daughters into a white suburb and then assimilate to them and then try to talk about Black Lives Matter. You don't know anything about the Black experience because you never been over there. So it's like, if you're truly out of it, just stay out of it. But the thing is, they want to move to the suburbs and say, oh, what's wrong with the community? You moving out the community is what's wrong with it. You moving is why there is no community. How could you have a Black community when the doctors that are there, they move out? How could you have a Black community when the mechanics that's there, they move out? So who's left there? A bunch of thugs?
Let me address that, and I'm going to let Brother D jump in. You right, Brother Be Easy, man. Me and Brother D are sitting here like, man, how can a young cat be hitting all cylinders at this, man? But let me say this about our people, man. We really are just like any other people, man. Even white people, even whoever. We have basic needs that we have. We want our children safe. We want to be in a safe environment. And if we feel like I got money and I'm staying in the hood and these people keep breaking in my house, then I'm not going to stay in the hood. I don't want them to break in my house or keep attacking me or keep doing something or feel some jealousy, some heat toward me. So they will move. they may move. Now they may move into a upper black neighborhood, or they may move into a white neighborhood, whatever they can afford or whatever. That may happen a lot of times. So I don't want us to put that heat on all of our people, because some of our people just move because it's just a safer thing. Like Dr. Dre was getting his house broken into all the time. It's just a safer place for them to move out of the hood, right? So that's what some of our people are experiencing. And like you said, some of our people are, like you said, like Malcolm said, I'm the only one on my block. You know, they had that type of attitude. But I think we just have to take everybody at a case-by-case basis on the situation. I do agree with you. If you gonna move out and you not gonna help, then keep your mouth shut. If you ain't helping, don't be out here talking. I have a problem with a couple of different YouTubers now, because they're always talking about the community and all of that. And then they talk about how stupid the men are, stupid the women are, and they got followers. I got 300 subscribers. These people got hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Well, obviously they're not. Most of them are not black, right? Because if you can go out there and say, hey, I'm with y'all. Black people ain't nothing. I agree with you. That's why I only date white women. I'm only doing this. I'm only in the white neighborhood. I live in the white neighborhood. There's one in particular that I had to unsubscribe from because I was listening to him and I was like, but I ain't gonna say his name, but I'm just, you know, you can do the free agent lifestyle if you want to. You can do the free agent lifestyle if you want to. How about, let me say it like that. If you want to do the free agent lifestyle, you can do the free agent lifestyle. But anyway, what you got to say about this situation?
I agree with both of you brothers. I guess one of my biggest problems, because I talk to my wife about this stuff all the time.
What's up, Sister G?
Huh?
I said, what's up, Sister G?
She popped something up.
Yeah, oh yeah, man. She's always she's half the chat, bro.
one of the problems that I have, and I think you might have touched on it, and I think Brother B Easy spoke. I don't have a problem with people moving to another or better community. That's fine. Because, I mean, nobody wants to live in the gutter, right?
Right.
What I have and just to clarify, I don't have an issue with that either.
Okay.
Right.
See, well, we just trying to spell it all out, Brother B Easy. I know that we know already, brother.
But I do have an issue when people deliberately decide that they're going to move to another community because they think if I'm around a bunch of white folks, I'm showing everybody else I came up. But you ain't brought no black folks up.
And that's what
you moved out of the hood that you just left from. That's where I got a problem.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. You can come up, and we're not going to bastardize you for that. But don't come up and be riding your Benz around Marcy Projects and all of that kind of stuff. And you ain't brought none of them brothers that you came through with. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to get out of the neighborhood, but why does it have to be a white neighborhood? Because basically, when the stuff really gets bad and white folks really lose their mind, you the only black family in the neighborhood. What house you think they're going to stop?
Ouch.
What else you think they stopping at first before they start wrecking everything else?
Ouch.
They going to show, them Negroes down there think they uppity. They coming straight to your crib.
Ouch.
Straight to your crib. So why would you even want to put yourself? I would rather take my chances with being good neighborhood, bad neighborhood, what have you, around people that share my heritage. Because at the end of the day, when things go bad, them white folks gonna band together. Even if you got a white husband or a white wife, she gonna go where the whites is at, and there's a serious divide, and you stuck out there.
Ouch.
You know what I'm saying? Let's be real.
Ouch. Well, let me ask y'all this, man. Because we covered a lot of topics. A lot of people gonna get a lot of stuff out this, I believe, in the replay. Man, we covered a lot of topics. Let me touch back on our original topic, which was, is the Democratic Party a cult for black people? Is there any way of us, and I've asked you guys this question a bunch of times, so let me rephrase it another way. Is there any way that we can get around voting? Is there any way we can improve our community? And when I say our community, I'm talking about the three of us are Black, I'm talking about the Black community in particular. Is there any way we can promote getting the community together outside of voting, since that is not bringing us the results that we typically want? Is there any way we can do that without the voting? I think, Brother E.B. Easy, you touched on it, talking about the athletes coming back, but let me hear y'all's thoughts on that.
I might have a stupid commentary. It might sound very stupid.
No, man.
But I don't think you can vote yourself out of racism. I don't think you can vote yourself into, getting reparations.
You can't
I don't
vote
think you
yourself
can vote yourself into a party and think that you're going to get anything out of that. I don't think you should be party lined. I think, like you've been saying the whole time, you got to vote for the person that's going to represent you and do what you need them to do.
Right.
But I also I'm a realist.
Right.
And I've been saying it the whole time. If you're not bringing no dollars, all you bringing is problems. Ain't nobody dealing with you, regardless of what party it is.
Right.
So you got to bring your money, and you got to have an agenda, unified agenda, because we're not. And like Brother Bees, he said, a lot of us are individuals. That is a very big problem. Let's get over the individualism first.
Okay, how do we do that? How do we do that? Brother D, how do we do that? We've had individualism beat into us since slavery. We've been intimidated, bastardized, brutalized, murdered, tortured, raped into individual thinking. How are we going to get out of that? And I asked the same thing, Brother E.B. Easy too.
Well, we've kind of been forced in a situation where you have to be individual in a sense, because
that's my point.
Too many people have been scuffed up, roughed up, and done hard from us also, and everybody else. So everybody's like every man for themselves, and one for all for yourself, which I think is a very bad situation.
Right.
Because if you don't have a unified group, you can't be a one-man army. I don't care who you are or what you're trying to do. You gotta have some people that think the same, doing the same, and working towards the same goals. How do we fix that? We got to do it one person at a time, because we can't just all of a sudden wake up tomorrow and all of a sudden we're all on one accord and we're all in code. That's not gonna happen, because it didn't happen that way when we got disrupted.
Right.
It happened incrementally.
Right.
So we gotta do it one at a time, brother.
What do you think?
Some of us will and some of us won't.
You're right. Brother Be Easy, what do you think about that, man?
Yeah, I agree. You can't save everybody. But one thing that we need to, the voting is important mainly locally, right?
Right.
So
it's the best hit.
But so that's where I would start. If voting is going to be the thing that you preach to people, then preach about locally. Because when I hear blacks, they never say nothing about local, but it's just always about the presidential race. Right. So they get politically exactly. You get politically woke and active during the actual national election, but meanwhile your state is passing all sorts of laws that you don't even agree with, that you don't even know about. And then and let's just not even let's just take the voting out. How many of y'all's ever been to the city council or the teachers meeting? Right. Those PTAs, y'all not even going there, and then y'all complaining about critical race theory. Like, bro, you're not even going down there to meet. You know what I'm trying to say? So,
right, brother.
So instead of voting, we need to focus on education. And when I say education, we need to stop acting like school is the only place that you get educated. Y'all could think about high school. How much stuff did you truly remember from high school? They was still, when I was going, they was still saying Christopher Columbus saved America. Like they was portraying this good old story. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you can get educated. This panel right now has been nothing but educational information. So you don't need to go to a particular school to only get your education. It's a lot of books that's been written that provide you with enough education that will be able. I mean, how many business owners and millionaires, Robert Kiyosaki and all this stuff, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, just read that book right there. That'll snap you into reality. So just there's a powerful of just a couple books that will change the trajectory of your life. But the thing is, you got to actually pick up the book and read it. Right? We need more people promoting that. We need to, instead of Jim Clyburn having fish fries to vote, we need to have fish fries and everybody gets a book. Everybody gets a book to take home. Because look, we can talk about the importance of voting, but if we don't know what we're voting for and why we're voting, then voting doesn't matter. So we need to enlighten and educate our people to understand the importance of voting, and that is not going to be the end all be all, because some people vote and they're like, oh, my life still sucks. Like, yes, voting is not going to just help your life. The name of the book was Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. It's definitely one of my favorite books. But yeah, we need to be having book drives. We need to have these festivals, bring the R&B singers out, bring the rappers out, and pass out books and pass out pamphlets about credit and say, look, y'all came to this concert. Next week, we having another concert. But we talking about credit for an hour, and then we gonna play some music. We talking about stocks for an hour, and then y'all gonna eat some of this good fish.
That is a brilliant idea, brother. That is a brilliant idea.
I got something really strange. Idea. I wanna maybe I'll do a program about it. But it's because I deal with millionaires and billionaires all the time, right? And you'll be surprised how many of them do not have college degrees.
Right.
They don't even have high school degrees.
Right.
Some of them.
I know Henry Ford dropped out after the 8th grade.
Right.
Now,
one
of these days, I'm gonna tell you all a strange story about my. I can tell you a million stories, but I'll talk about John Marriott. That's the gentleman that owns Marriott hotels. And I actually ran into him, and I had just got into the real estate and finance business at that time. And he actually kept me motivated because of something that he told me. He's a white guy talking to a brother. Yeah. And what he told me, how he got into all of this stuff, really kept me motivated all the way up to this day. And I've been doing this stuff for almost 38 years. A couple months will be 38 years. And he didn't have to tell me anything. But he heard me talking to a lot of my other colleagues and things of that nature. And he came up to me and we just had a conversation. I didn't even know he was who he was until he told me. And guess who all his colleagues were? He pulled up. It was like 7 super stretch limousines, and it was a bunch of brothers jumping out with briefcases. And they opened the door, and he got out. They were all his attorneys. And guess where we were at? We were at Marriott Hotel in Virginia Beach. I was like, so when he talked to me, I didn't know that's the Marriott guy until he handed me his business card. And that was after our conversation. So I'll have that story whenever. You know what I mean? But it's very important because that kept me in business for 37 years, 38 years. Just what he told me.
And could I just expound on something? It's also very important that you're able to articulate yourself, right? Because you could talk to me like, nah, I'm saying blood, and I'll be cool with that. Mm-hmm. But you bringing that to Mr. Marriott, and then you're not expecting him to look at you like in a stereotypical way. You need to be able to code switch and conduct yourself in a certain way. Like if we just talking amongst the fellas, they don't need to be the grammar police, but you need to be dressing and speaking as if you're trying to go somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. Progress, not regress. And some of these people, they go to job interviews with tennis shoes and baggy clothes. They get in front of the dude and yeah,
point.
blood, I know what you're saying. It's like,
Good
come on,
point.
man.
And don't bring nobody with you to the interview. Your friends and family.
Yeah, man. You guys are making such good points, man.
I'm
You're
an
making such
interviewer,
good
so I know
points.
exactly what you're talking about.
Same here, brother. Same here. And
Hey,
it's
bro,
sad,
brother D, didn't you Jamaican boy? Because you didn't work every goddamn job.
Yeah, man. Yeah, did everything, man.
Jaman, that boy, brother Rasta.
Okay.
We got to stay on him. Be easy. We got to stay on him. He got 50,000 jobs, man. But we got to stay on him to get this situation.
Hey, that's why he ain't made the course. He working too many jobs.
That's it, man.
Got 9 jobs.
Man. If you're going to make this course, every black person on the whole, every black man on the whole USA will buy that course just to, I mean, he won't have to do no another loan no more. You know what I mean? So
which one you want me to teach next, brother? I can teach them all off the top of my head.
I would love you to teach the personal credit one. That one,
okay. I'll make that the next one.
Because this guy's going to be graduating.
Don't teach it off the top of your head. Write it down, bro, because this information, you ain't going to be here forever, but that information can be.
He is. He's already done it he's done it years and years and years ago. He just got to get back into it. He's wrote books and all this. He's got the information, brother. We got to get him to deliver. We got to stay on his head, brother. Be easy.
You just got to format the information, right?
Yeah, man.
Bring it up. You have to understand that I used to charge a lot of money for the books and classes that I used to teach. So
yeah, but we ain't saying you give them $1 million class, brother D. Just give them the $100,000 class, man. Put that together, and then if they want the $1 million class, because most of them cats will be cool with this $100,000 class. But there gonna be some that's gonna say, "Hey, you know what? I want to see what's behind that door. I'm willing to go back there behind that door." But a point of what Brother Be Easy was saying, because he made a lot of good points about the books. You know what the problem is, Brother Be Easy? You know what they say about black people? If you want to hide something from black people, where you put it?
Put it in a book.
Put it in a book, right? Black people ain't gonna open that book, right? A lot of us are not. So if we not gonna, because we're very spiritual people. We used to teach back in the day. It wasn't because we didn't know how to write, but we got like language. You can say a word and that word has a meaning. But with us, we could say a word one way. We're the one that came up with inflections, because we could say a word one way and it mean one thing, and then we could say a word another way and mean another thing, right? For example, your mama come in the house, she see your clothes all over the floor. She say, "Be easy." You hear that, you like, uh-oh. Or she come in, she see you bought her some flowers and put them in the foyer for her. She said, "Oh, be easy." Same words, two different meanings. We did that because we such spiritual people. We can inflect the word. We can take that language and inflect it and make it have different meanings, right? So a lot of our people, we need to see the inflection as opposed to reading the book. A lot of our people, because we such spiritual people, we would rather see the inflection of the person actually, their spirit connecting with what is actually being said, as opposed to it just being on the book, right? But that's something that we have to learn how to do. We have to learn how to take what's in the book and actually break it down spiritually in our heads and see what the person is saying. You got to learn that. Now, that's something I had to learn myself. But I think I agree with you, man. That was a great idea you had. And I hope you able to make that happen some type of way.
Man, I'll keep you updated on that. Man, and I totally agree with you, Brother Clarence. The only thing is, when you say that, which you make a very valid point, sometimes what some people that have the inferiority complex, they will look at that and use that as an excuse to say, yeah, you're right. See, that's why I can't read a book. But you know what they got, which they've always had? Audio books where they read it out for you. Now, brother. Yes, it's not the same. It's not the same as someone actually in front of you. But if if it's some of the best books, the authors is dead, so they can't be there physically to read it for you, but someone else has narrated the book for you. It's in Cali. It's a lot of traffic. People be sitting in traffic for 2 hours, but what do? They turn on this radio station that plays the same songs that they hear every day. That's the time that you could be listening to an audio book. Right? You finna listen to the same lyrics. So people always, oh, I don't have time to read. No one has time. I don't have time to be on this podcast right now. I made time. Right. So I agree with you, but we as a people use that as an excuse. For one, you don't want to pick up a book and hold it because you need inflection and you don't have the time to read. Then you sitting in traffic for hours and you have access to the audio book through Audible, through YouTube. Just type in any book that you like. It's an audio version just on YouTube. You'd be like, oh damn, I didn't even know this. Yeah, someone's already did that. So we could listen to the audio books. You can have book clubs, right? They have clubs for everything else where they get together and do each other makeup, get together, me, Brother Clarence and Brother D, and hey, you read a chapter, I read a chapter.
Right.
We can't do that. What I don't understand, maybe Clarence understands it and he could break it down to me in real time. So we really don't have excuses. We just don't have the willingness and determination to do it. And this is the last thing that I'll say, because people want to act like, oh, we don't read a lot. No, Black people read a ton. They just don't read stuff of substance, because if you know sites like the Shade Room, World Star, for reals, if you go to the site, more important than the video is the comments. What are you doing to the comments? You're reading the comments. Then you read the reply. Then you type something and you proofread it. All of that is a version of reading. All people do, they barely call each other, so they text. You're reading text all day. You're reading social media posts all day. You're reading comments from your favorite social media post all day. If you totaled all those words, you probably read 2 chapters.
Right.
The only difference is you didn't read anything of substance, but we do read a lot, just a bunch of frivolous, petty information.
Right. You are absolutely
one of the things,
right.
if I can just tag on the end of that, which is very important, and maybe one of your other broadcasts I spoke of this, and this is very important. I can sit here and talk all day, but you have to comprehend what I'm saying also. I can hand you 1,000 books. You have to be able to contextualize what you're reading and understand what you're seeing and what you're reading and what the context of the writings are. A lot of people think that as long as they have a book, that's good. They think as long as they go to a seminar, that's good enough because somebody's speaking. But you have to actually understand what the hell they're saying. You know what I mean? And hearing is not the same thing as comprehending.
Right.
So comprehend what you hear and understand what you're hearing, and then it'll take you even further.
Okay. Well, see, that's the thing with us as Black people. Like I was making the point before, a lot of us, that's when spirituality comes about, because we and it's gotten us. It made us kind of lazy, like Brother B, where we'll say, oh, well, I don't have time to sit down and actually read it, but they really don't know how to crunch it out in their head and try to, because sometimes you read something in the book and you got to think about it from 3 different directions before you finally get the actual idea or the concept that's trying to be presented to you, right? But a lot of our people, man, we just want it fast. Like Brother B said, it's a microwave situation, man. Brother B, you don't know, man. Back in the day, me and Brother D, we had to go in the bank. You had to go in the bank and get your money, right? You had to go in there and get your money, right? And you had to go in there, and you only got $10 in there. You had to go in there and ask them for $9 so you could have $1 still in there. You had to do it. You had to make yourself look crazy, but you had to go in there. Now they won't even give you unless you got $20, right? They won't even, but it's just you in the ATM. But back in the day, brother, you had to go in the bank. See, but now it's a whole nother.
Hey, even with the food stamps, I at least do remember them. When you had I remember, for reals, I don't know why, like, now that you have the card and people have no shame, they just be getting lobster, crab, and swiping. But before, I remember, like, let's say brother Clarence was in the line, like, oh damn, Clarence here. I don't want him to see me playing, playing with these stamps. I remember
Ain't
people.
no game in their game today, brother.
Yeah, yeah, they just be like, just put it on the card, and they.
But see now, bro. See, I remember back in the day, brother. Back in the day when you had food stamps, man, you had all them stamps. You had to pull them apart and all of that, brother.
Bro, it was like 5s, 10s, 20s.
Yeah, right. So they be kind of like cowering down in the line, right? They would, but man, now they got that card. They be like, yeah, what's up? Yeah, right. Brother,
hey, when you see they basket before, you be like, okay, that's
right.
That's
like,
EBT
man.
right there.
And they already know they tying it up, so they keep looking
at
back.
Least,
like,
y'all,
who am I tying up?
Hey, no, they switched it. You could use
stamps.
EBT. You could use that on Amazon now. If you got a Snap,
Really?
yeah, bro. I'm on Amazon right now, and it says Snap EBT eligible. And in San Francisco, because there's so many homeless people, you can use it at like Burger King, McDonald's, because it's
in LA.
Yeah, because before EBT, you wasn't allowed to use it on hot food.
Right. You couldn't go into the fish market or the chicken shack. You couldn't, but now you can.
Now you can. Popeyes,
that's what I
all
was
of that
talking
stuff.
about, where they spent that money and they put that money in Obama's pot to make that happen. Because remember, before Obama, you're right, absolutely right. You couldn't go into these neighborhood fish markets with the Asians or the nail shop or whatever and spend money like that. You couldn't do it. Now you can. That was one thing Obama got through for them, because they put money in his pot that he was going to make sure that even the little Asian markets could take the EBT card, because they wouldn't.
And it's disguised to like, oh, look, it helps the homeless, but it's really to help those businesses. It's like, look, we're helping the homeless. It's just more revenue for those businesses. That's all it is.
Brother, be easy. Brother Corp, he's asking, do you have a YouTube platform, man? You want to yell it out if you have one, or it's coming?
Oh yeah, man. Just type in Be Easy, that dude. I got my platform. I'm working on some content. So yeah, if you subscribe, you'll see some new stuff coming up this week.
Okay, man. We're gonna hold you to that, brother. Be easy.
Oh, absolutely. Y'all got me hyped, man. So you're two very inspirational and intellectual brothers. So this type of stuff is what what actually motivates me and believe there is hope for the community. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I know everybody else is. See, this is what I don't like. Some people is like, the community is over, it's done. Typically, when something is done, I don't talk about it, right? Like if it's a movie that I'm over and done with it, I don't keep giving reviews on it. So if the community is truly done, then y'all just step aside and ride off to the sunset, so it can leave the people who's actually serious about changing the conditions. Now, we ain't gonna be able to save everybody, but like, who actually does save everybody? But if you could change the trajectory of multiple people's life, I mean, isn't that worth doing, bro? Otherwise, like, why are we even here, bro? Like, why are we even, what I'm saying? Why are we even on these platforms or talking about Black anything if we're not willing to do that at least? And you can just start with you're not going to be able to reach everybody, but you can start in the people in your family, in your immediate area, and then platforms like this to where we can link up with like minds. And actually try to build Voltron, right? Because Clarence can't do it by himself. And this is what we really got to get out of. Like, we don't want to, we talk about the gender war, and then people try to act like it's a race war. Well, if it was, we would be the first to get wiped out, because we so separated and ununified. But it don't have to be like that. It literally don't. I mean, I believe that there still is time, for people to change, and for us to see like collective improvement. And really, that's all that we could work for. Is our vote just going to be overturned?
You know what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen, brother? I try to tell you, like I'm telling Brother D, what's going to happen about 3 or 4 years, man. you're going to be out there and you're going to get an email like this, brother, I was going in this direction, and because of that video you made, or because of that course you made, or because of that, I was able to turn my life around because of something you did. You know what I mean? And that's what we're working for. Yeah, we want to get paid. I mean, we don't want to just be sitting here doing this for free. We want to get something out of it to be able to secure our families. But the ultimate goal is to save whosoever will come, let him come. And let's walk whoever wants to walk into the sunlight. Whoever don't, like Brother Daniel said, we gotta just leave them there. You know what I mean? But that's the real gift you're gonna get. Brother Be Easy, are you a father?
I'm not a father.
Okay, let me tell you what you don't get a lot of thank yous for being a father, brother. It's not a lot of thank yous. Mother's Day, mothers, a lot of hoorah for mothers. Fathers, no, man.
Yes, it's a thankless,
You know
a
what I'm saying?
thankless
If you're getting into fatherhood for the thank yous and the hoorahs, you're getting into the wrong business, man. But you know
Hey,
what
bro,
you did? Well,
no,
let me
I
tell
was gonna
you.
say this. I totally agree because I had been in a situation where, I had dated like a single mom or something, right? Had no
Ouch.
obligations to the kid. Yeah, ouch, exactly. You want to talk about thankless position?
Way
It's
too
like,
young to be dating a single mom.
bro, they ain't even your kids, and then you're automatically expected. So if real dads ain't getting no respect, what you think a
Yeah.
stepdad is getting?
Stepdad is just not, man.
And,
You are
and
way too
honestly,
young to be dating single moms, man. Way too young.
bro, tell me about it. I was just looked at like I was supposed to do this stuff, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But see, my thing is if I'm in a situation like that, I'm not gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna deprive the kid of something, and be spiteful because I chose to be in the
Right.
situation. But then when you collect it in and see like, oh, I'm expected to still provide the bills, still risk my life, and then at the end of the day, you get like, see, it's all cool when you paying the bills, but when you try to enact any type of discipline or authority, it's like, you ain't my daddy or that ain't your kid.
That's
So
right.
why am I even here? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And that's the problem with our community. We have too many situations like that where I'm supposed to step in and you got 3 kids by 3 different daddies, all of them a bunch of thugs that don't like me. You know what I'm trying to say? But so I do want to have an outlet to where these kids at least have some place where they're getting educated and taught some level of
There you go.
masculinity with that, because even if they don't have a father, they can still have father figures. They can still have
There you
mentors
go.
and stuff.
There you
Because
go.
some dudes hear that and they think like, well, I'm not trying to sign up to be a stepdaddy. That's a thankless job. I
Yeah.
agree with you. However, if you do care about the community, they had those Big Brother programs. I don't know if they still have them, but just the
Yeah.
sentiments of that type of mentorship. I just be like mentoring some young kids in Oakland, bro. I don't get paid for it. It's just my own thing. I just go out,
Yeah.
kids in the hood and stuff. Now, do I reach some of them? Yes. Some of them genuinely want to change their conditions. Others is just like, nah, bro, like I
Yeah.
don't really want to hear what you're
Right.
talking about, So
Yeah.
and like Brother D said, like, hey, those people you just gotta just let them walk. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna devote all that energy into ones that I know, but the ones that show interest and say they really want to change, that's who I'm trying to work and reach out to. And that number may be the minority, but you got to start somewhere.
Let me say this, brother. Let me say this. That's admirable what you're doing. That's admirable. And that's the best way to help single moms is to try to be a what do you call a father,
Role
not
model.
a role model, not a father figure, but a role model. That's the best way you can help them. And because what happens is when you're at an age that you at, man, where you're that young and you're trying to get involved with single moms, you're way too young because you got so much stuff that you still need to accomplish, man. The single mom, I'm not just talking to you. I'm talking to the people on the replay, and I'm talking to the single moms out there. Try to get somebody to be, that wants to help you, that truly looking at your children and saying, yeah, these are, I can dump an hour into your son here or there. You know what I mean? Somebody trying to spend a lot of time with your daughters, might, that you might want to look twice at that dude. But a dude just said, hey, look, you know what? See, if your son gonna go to the gym, I might be at the gym. I'll see him up there. I'll talk to him for a minute. And you say, yeah, can you talk to him? Because he had this issue, but he didn't want to tell me. Something like that, cool. But 40 years old, to me, that's where now you can open the door to start dealing with single moms, because you have more, you can see right away whether she's about something or not about something, because you got the discernment at that age. Young guys like yourself, man, you need to spend all your time getting yourself together, getting your bag together, getting your spiritual life together, getting all of these other things together, man. You seem like you, as in particular, Brother Beezy, you got your foundation is really good and set. So that's good. That's something you ain't got. Now you can put the other time into getting your bag right and getting your lifestyle right. And then you can, do it. But let me say this. There's no animal in the world where there's stepfather except human beings. That is the only animal that will do that. I think penguins will do it because they have such a shortage of women. Other than that, it's not a natural thing. So women out there, if you got a guy that's willing to step in and take on the role of stepdad, and shout out to the stepdads. But if you are somebody that's willing to step in and take the role as a stepdad, you can hold on to that brother. He may not be perfect, but at least he's willing to get in. How many people is willing to get in line and say, oh, when you say to him, my children come first, you basically telling him he come last after your last child. How many men are going to step in that gap? Not a lot. So let's, peace to the stepdads and women. If you have a guy that's truly trying to do that, and you can tell his heart is good. He ain't trying to step in there to play no games. His heart is good. You got to hold on to that dude, even if you make a mistake or two. Nobody's perfect. It takes us as men maybe to about 40 years old before we realize what we're doing out here. We just out here trying to figure it out. I don't know if any one of you guys got anything to add to those comments, or you agree.
That actually was some great. That was some great advice for young men, because it's a lot of young men. That was some fatherly type advice, right? That's the type of advice that they should be getting from their father or some sort of role model or father figure in their house. The problem is, since most of our kids are being, raised in single parent home, they're getting a feminine version of masculinity, which is not masculinity at all, right? They're getting someone masquerading as a father, trying to teach them about fatherly ideals and manly ideals. So that's really the problem. That's why so many men are following people like Kevin Samuels or stuff, because they're like the father that he never had. I've seen multiple dudes say that in the comments, and there's a lot of people that grew up with a father in the house, but their father didn't give them fatherly advice. You know what I'm saying? So my biological pops, I barely seen him. He was out selling dope, doing drugs and shit like that. My step pops, I was raised by him, and he gave me indirect lessons, right? Like, how, like, let's say you're in the kitchen, someone doesn't teach you how to cook, but just from you being around, you kind of know how to cook. You just watch, okay, you chop it like this. So I got lessons like that, but I never was on fishing trips, or I never was like, here's how you fight. All this stuff I had to learn by myself, even though I had a man in the house protecting, so there were some things I learned, but there was a lot of dereliction in those duties and teaching, you know what I'm saying? And it could have been stemming because he was a stepdad, right? He thought it was a thing. So there's a lot of that's why as a kid, you don't understand that. But as I get older, I think like, okay, let me look at it from his shoes. So there are so the issue is there's kids being raised without a father in the house, and then they do get raised with a father in the house that sometimes working too many hours, right? Working 16 hours, come home. Like, what is he truly going to teach you? He's just sleeping and, you know, wants the bigger plate, the bigger pork chop, and you know, so for real, there's a lot of gentlemen that I know that have had a man in the house, but they haven't had any type of lessons. They didn't teach him how to talk to girls. You know what I'm saying? They didn't teach him about strapping up. You had to learn that from sex ed and education.
That is
and
another lesson that we need to teach. Yes, you're right.
yeah. A lot of schools, do they still teach sex ed? And when they do teach sex ed, all they talk about is trans. So it's like, it's a lot of stuff to where just that advice that you gave was coming from a place that a father should be delivering like that. And these type of messages, as simplistic as it seems, is not really that simple if they're not getting this message, right? If they're not hearing it, it's not simplistic, it's non-existent, because they're just simply not hearing it. So you got to go through life trying to be your own father. And that's a precarious position. It really is, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how it was for me. I had to learn. And then when you don't have a father figure and you in the hood, who is you gonna look up to? The people that's doing it, and that sometimes happens to be drug dealers, pimps, and all this stuff. Yeah, Big Meech. What is he doing? He's getting all of the accolades. He's getting all of the attention. He's getting all of the praise.
Right.
I mean, I don't have anyone to tell me that that's bad. I don't have anyone else to tell me that, look, yeah, he's getting praise, but also look at this doctor. Also look at this welder. Like, you're not presented with another option. These are the other options. Hey, look at that gangster over there. Look at that pimp. Look at that ball player.
You know what, brother? This is why I be on Brother D so bad, man, because he got all this information, man. And you know, like when you come into the NBA, all the rookies, you have to go. They have a 4-day class called a rookie symposium. You have to go into that. You cannot play a day of ball without going to the rookie symposium. And at the rookie symposium, man, you getting classes all day, 8 hours a day. You getting classes all day where they talking to you about finance and managing your money and things you're gonna come up with, and women, and just different things issues that's gonna come up that you need to learn about. And that's why I say we need a curriculum. We need a after school curriculum, after graduation, high school graduation. Like, you go straight into this class. Like in Israel, as soon as you graduate high school, boy or girl, you go straight into the army. Ain't no I need to talk about it, and there ain't nothing to talk about. As soon as you graduate, you do 2 years in the army. Period. The end. Everybody is a soldier over there, right? Well, we need to have the same mentality where we put everybody's a financial soldier, a physical soldier, a spiritual soldier. Everybody, we got to put that on the top burner for us. And how do we do that? We got to just start out like little by little. Like, brother, be easy. You teach one, I teach one, Brother Daniel teach one. But if we had a place where we could put like 10 or 15 or 20 of them in one room and actually teach them, then that could be the start of educating them to a point where now it's expected that when you graduate high school, you're going to attend Brother D's class. You're just going to attend that class. That everybody attends that class after they graduate high school. And at least we cut down on a lot of the dumb mistakes that most of us made, because I didn't have anybody tell me. I was like you, Brother Be Easy. I didn't have anybody to tell me anything. My father passed away when I was turning 18. He passed away. So he wasn't there at a critical point in my life. He was gone. I didn't have any uncles or anything that was close by that could teach me, living in the same state or area close by to teach. So who did I have to go by? The barbershop, Big Meech, stuff like that. The gangsters at the ballpark, whatever, right? So we need to get that together. I'm glad all of us are on the same page as far as we need to teach that. It's just we got to figure out how we can do it. And we have different ideas about doing it, but I think you got a good idea, man, when you was talking about having some type of thing where they could come and hear a concert, but we're gonna go over this book first, Then we're gonna play the concert. Then we're gonna go over another chapter. Then we're gonna play the concert. That was a brilliant idea, brother. Hope you please do that. Please do
Yeah,
that. We will
I'm
send
definitely
anybody over
working.
that way. We will send anybody over that way that we can. But brothers, I'm going to close it down, man. We had 3 hours and 23 minutes. I am not the lead attorney. I can't stay out here forever, brother.
Are you tapping out, brother Clarence? You need a Red
I,
Bull?
I'm tapping out, brother, because I got to go and eat me some tuna fish, man. So I got to eat something, man. I haven't eaten because I was preparing for this situation, man. I was thinking you brothers came on and helped me out so much, man. I was preparing to speak myself for 3 hours, so I did all that preparing. I didn't even have to use most of that material because thank God you guys came on and made it even more interesting than it would have been just me talking about myself. So I appreciate it and thank you. But I want to know if either one of you brothers had some final thoughts on the topic, and we probably do another one on Thursday. So if you got time in your schedule, come on through, man.
Yeah, I'm down for that. Yeah, because we definitely could expound on that. I just with the last point that you was making, I something had just
But
came to me.
teaching.
It was that pretty much both. I think both of you guys are fathers, so you guys could ask. But I see this is very prevalent in the Black community. Like as soon as you turn 18, up. I'm like, what? Meanwhile, I'm looking at all my other Filipinos, Afghans, bro. They're in their 40s living with their parents, and they don't move until they all could afford to get a house. But as soon as you get you 15, you already paying bills. You 18, they trying to kick you out the house, and then you kicking your kid out, who you basically didn't teach anything. You all you did was fill them up with white supremacy indoctrination, and then you kick them out, and then we wonder why they going and getting knocked up, or why they knocking up these kids or shooting up the block and stuff. So if y'all could just touch in on that real quick, like, do y'all agree that we let our kids go out, leave a nest too quick, or maybe they should be leaving at 18? But that just means leading up to 18, you should have filled them up with more information to where they're prepared to leave at 18. What do y'all think about that?
Let me give you my version, and then Brother D will give you his version. My version is like this, man. With boys, because of them, it depends on the mother. If the mother depends on how much the mother suckles them. If the mother is always giving them a safe place to land when they do stuff crazy, then you're gonna have to compensate for that fluffiness that the mother's putting out by putting pressure on them. Now, does that mean they're actually gonna be kicked out of the house at 18? Probably not. If they, but you definitely got to put the pressure on them that, hey, at this time you better be doing something. See, in Islam, they talk about there's a sword and it hangs over your head, and if you don't do what you're supposed to do, that sword will come down on your neck. So the people that are not natural Muslims, they gotta always make sure that they tell the truth, because if they don't tell the truth, that sword will chop their head off, right? Okay, well, same thing with our children. If we don't push them to do what's right, you got to have that sword over their head to push them to do what they're supposed to do. And then by the time they turn around, they got a college degree, and they said, hey, oh, I see what you were doing for me. I thought you were doing something to me. You were actually doing something for me. Now I realize, and the father just sits back like this. Yeah. But at the time, it looked like it's hostility, right? But you actually I got one now. Matter of fact, I got two now that's in school now. That's both over the age of 18 with me. The oldest one, God is real, because he got rid of that boy. That boy, man, me and that boy was gone. He got that boy out of my house. You know what I mean? So, but the two younger ones are still in school, college. So but I always put the pressure on them. Hey, man, if you ain't doing this or you ain't doing that, And and my youngest one still be like, why you always say I could leave if I don't want to do what you? Because you can leave if you want. I mean, if the free food and the free bed is too much for you, hey, go ahead and go. You're gonna find a better deal out there. So I hope I'm answering your question. From my perspective, is it depends on the mother. Now, my wife was very she had sisters. She had all sisters. So she was very like her own mother was, where very, taking them at their problems and letting them, making it a little too fluffy for them. So I had to come on the other end. But when you look at a child and you see that child is standing up, his legs are getting strong already, you don't have to put as much pressure. This is my opinion. You don't have to put as much pressure when you see their legs getting strong. They 13, 14. You see them kind of, doing things for self already. They kind of, like, hey, when can I go get my driver's license? You see them trying to stand up already. You don't have to put as much pressure on them. That's in my opinion. But to answer the final answer to your question, no, I don't think you should ever just put your child out, especially if you can see that he or she doesn't have the proper training. You shouldn't do that. That's not going to work out. I know that some people, they're crazy enough to put their biological children out of the house because they feel like, hey, this person don't respect me and stuff like that. That's a slippery slope. But that's my opinion. Brother D, what you got to say about that?
Well, I mean, I don't want to regurgitate what you were saying. That's pretty much what it would have been because I've taken care of children that were not mine and taking care of children that are. So I'm not gonna reiterate what you said. What I do want to say is appreciate you for allowing me to be on your platform. Your commentary was good.
You know that.
Appreciate man. Brother Easy. Be easy.
Yeah, appreciate
easy every time. Good content. But there's a question that I always ask people, and I never want people to not have an answer to this one. And I always ask people, they start looking around trying to figure out the answer. And it's real simple. When you woke up this morning, what was the reason you woke up for? If you can't answer that, go back to sleep.
Wow.
And always know what your why is. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a why. What is your why? Your why is your purpose for getting up in the first place. And you need to be striving towards that, whether it's your family or your education.
Right.
Do not be walking around not knowing what your why is or why you woke up this morning. Because a lot of people actually wake up bumping into walls and they don't even have a clue what's supposed to happen 2 minutes later. Never have anybody ask you, what are you going to do now that you're up? What are you going to do? And you don't have an answer. So that's my end of my discussion.
All right, brothers. I appreciate both of y'all, man. Y'all made my job today so much more easier, man. And I always like, getting my knife sharpened with the other sharp knives. Appreciate you. Brother Be Easy, it was your first time on, man. I think you knocked it not out of the park, out of the city, man. You know what I'm saying? So we're glad to have you anytime you want to cam up or hit us in the chat or whatever, man. You welcome, and you know this, man. You know I'm talking from my heart, man. You welcome anytime. And Brother D, you always got a chair here, so y'all, both of y'all brothers are welcome anytime. Probably will do another one on Thursday afternoon or whatever. See what I usually do is I'll call you, brother. What I usually do is do my paperwork because I'm like Brother Daniel, I got other things going on. So I do my paperwork early in the morning, get that done, try to eat something early because I know I'm gonna be on the stream. So I try to eat something early, but I just had a piece of cake, man. That's all I had. So now I'm hungry, brother. I'm like, man, get these Negroes. I got to go get me something to eat, man. So, but anyway, thank you.
Man, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate y'all, brothers. I'll pull up on the next.
Y'all have a great one.
Yeah,
have a good night.
And wait. The last thing is, Brother, be easy. Like you see, I'm promoting Brother Daniel. I'm promoting his thing, man. Because I ain't trying to, it ain't about, oh, this is my channel and I'm only going to promote me. No, anybody that's trying to do the right thing, brother, you got something that you can promote here. You welcome to come here and promote it. You got a book or something. You welcome to promote it here, brother, or course or whatever. And it's for the people, man. It's going to help the people. You're welcome to bring it here in your channel or whatever. Okay.
Yeah, thanks a lot, bro. I appreciate that, man. And realistically, bro, this should be that should be like the prerequisite, bro. We got to build each other up, right? You know what I'm saying? Like if I get bigger, that's beneficial for y'all, so I
You
can
know what
have
I'm
y'all
saying?
come
I
on,
get
right?
that, brother.
Okay.
I get that. I get that. The first thing you're gonna say is, "Hey, first person I played that on is Brother Clarence show." I get it. I get it already. So it's just we just gonna pull each other up, brother. But anyway, brother, I'm gonna let you brothers go, and then I'm gonna close it out, man.
For sure.
All right, appreciate y'all. Peace. Well, what y'all think? What do y'all think? What do y'all think? That was Brother Be Easy and Brother Daniel. What do y'all think? Did they knock it out of the park? Sister G, did your husband knock it out of the park? He knocked it out of the park. Brother Be Easy. Did Brother Be Easy knock it out of the park? Holy smokes. I mean, I knew he was smart from his chats, but I had no idea the kind of intellect I was dealing with him. Brother Daniel, I've spoken to him a couple of times, so I kind of knew somewhat of the intellect I'm dealing with him. But Brother Be Easy, I had no clue. I had no clue. I was very pleasantly surprised to actually talk to the brother. Very pleasantly surprised. What do y'all think? Did we cover enough topics for y'all? Did we address the topic? The Democratic Party a cult? Is it a cult for black people? I don't know. Why don't y'all go out there and talk to y'all friends? Bruh Scarp. Great show, bro, Clarence, out of the city. I appreciate that, bro, Scorp. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. We tried, brother. We tried. Sister G, y'all knocked it out of the city. We tried, Sister G. We tried to give y'all, the real, but at the same time, let y'all know that we just real people like y'all. We real people like everybody else, man. We just real people. Talk about real issues. But now, here's the hard part. We got to go out into the city and talk to other people about these issues. We got to talk to our friends and neighbors or the people that have an ear for this kind of information. We got to talk about it so that we can try to see, hey, don't get yourself in trouble. Now, I don't want y'all to go out here and be, hey, don't go to your mama's house or don't go to your auntie's house and say, hey, y'all need to stop voting for the Democrat. Don't get yourself in trouble. I ain't trying to tell you that. All I'm trying to say is maybe you could put a word here or there and say, you know what, ask a question. What have they really done for us? Well, I'm just not voting for Trump. That's all. Oh, okay. All right. And let it go. But you just ask a little question here or there. A nicely placed question here or there might get some people to turn their heads. Because our people, they in love with the Democratic Party and they don't want to let it go. And unfortunately, the Democrats don't have to do anything to win their votes. They don't have to talk about issues that they're going to correct, anything they're going to do. All they got to say is, don't vote for the racist Republicans. They racist. Period. The end. Period. The end. What do y'all think? Y'all going to help me? We're going to put pressure on Brother Daniel to put a course together. I mean, at least a financing course where these young guys could look and see, you know what, I could get $1 million loan. If I work hard for another 2 or 3 years on a job and save me some money, I could qualify for $1 million loan to invest in a house or a business or whatever, right? I mean, we need that. We need that. We need to put back into our young men and women what Ronald Reagan took away from them. Ronald Reagan, because of the lobbying of the credit card companies, the credit card companies did not want budgeting in the school curriculum. They lobbied him to get rid of it, and he did. Politicians lobbied him to get rid of the political science classes, political science court classes in high school, and he did. He cut those budgets, cut the education budget, didn't slash it. He clobbered it. He clobbered it. So we got to know this stuff. I mean, we got to see, we got to come together as like-minded people. We're not going to agree on every point, right? Me and Be Easy didn't agree on every point. Me and Brother Daniel didn't agree on every point. But we agree just enough to make this work move forward. And then they can tell me, hey, Brother Clarence, maybe this is a better way of handling this situation. And I could say, you're right, brother. Maybe this is a better way of handling it. Hell, I didn't even know how to spell quid pro quo. Brother Be Easy spelled that for me. So, you know what I'm saying? It ain't about, I know everything. I don't know everything. Like Brother B said, I know some, he knows some, Brother Daniel knows some. We'll get it all done. We'll get it all done. Brother Be Easy, thanks for all the support from the chat. Love y'all. Man, they love you, brother. See, this place here, like you said, it's the truth chamber, man. And they love anybody that's coming out here telling the truth from their heart. You sincere, you telling the truth and you sincere, they can, my chat, the people in my chat, they're going to see that sincerity, brother. And they're going to say, man, you the dude, you the dude. Shout out to Brother Be Easy. Shout out to Brother Clarence and Brother D. Oh, man, we got. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are the man, Brother Be Easy. I appreciate you so much, man. And if I can get a young cat like you, man, if I can just get a couple more like you, brother, we could start a fire out here, brother. We start a fire out here. It was very pleasant to meet you, brother. And it was very in your intellect and the way you laid the case out, man. You are very talented, brother. Don't let that talent go to waste, man. You know what I'm saying? Anytime you can sit down and talk to a brother for about 2 or 3 minutes, man, just put something on his head. Do it, man. Do it. We got an old saying in the nation, each one teach one. So, man, you get next to somebody, just teach, brother. Just teach. Yeah, y'all go over there and subscribe to Brother Be Easy, man. If you know what I'm saying, I gotta go over there and subscribe. I didn't even know he had a channel. I'm gonna go over there and subscribe too. But yeah, y'all go over there and subscribe to him. I can tell he's got some things coming in the works. And Brother Daniel, whenever he decides to put his page up, go subscribe to him because he's got a lot of information that we just got to slow him down enough to where he will put it into bring it up to date for children today. Anyway, with that being said, Sister G, this was Beyond the Truth Chamber. We tried, Sister G. We tried. It was easy. They made my job so easy. I mean, you got to go back and forth between, one genius and go back to the other genius. I mean, all I had to do was ask them questions. You know what I mean? They made it real easy for me. So, but praise be to God for that. So anyway, y'all, I'm going to close it down, man. I'm going to go get me something to eat, try to play with my granddaughter a little bit, and then call it a night. I thank you all for hanging out and showing up. If y'all want us to talk about a particular topic, all you guys got to do is go to my page and go to where they have the email and just click there, email me, say, Brother Clarence, can you hit on this subject? And, I'll at least try it. We'll at least try to work it out. All right. Till next time. See y'all. Peace. Thank y'all for stopping by.